Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to episode 55 of the X Button Gaming Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be doing a collector's edition episode, and I have a couple of guests back here with me today. I have my boy Jimmy.
Hello, everyone.
And my boy Jaden.
What's up, everybody?
My boys with a Z.
Yeah.
Well, that was nice and creepy.
Let's just start over. It's not too late.
Oh, thanks for joining.
It's not too late. We're
It is
45
too late.
seconds in.
We are 49 seconds
Oh,
in.
I
We're
was
past
close.
past the mark.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining, guys. It's always fun to have you here for a collector's edition episode. And before we get started, I do want to apologize because I took a month off without telling anybody or even announcing that I was going to not do episodes. It was only kind of my fault. I did have an episode planned earlier in the month, and my guest backed out last minute. And
What a jerk. Hate that guy, whoever he is.
Oh, man, I hate him a lot. I will never have him on this podcast again.
After today.
After today, it was James.
Sorry. Okay.
And then I thought I had an episode planned for 2 weeks later, and I was just like, all right, I'll just roll with that one. And then when I got about 3-4 days out and I was going to text the person, I realized I had never planned an episode for that. So, and instead of doing anything, I just kept being sick and playing Final Fantasy. So, because I was sick. So
That's
it was a
fair.
weird month, but we're back into the rotation. We'll actually have an episode sooner than 2 weeks too, because we'll do this one and then have one next week too. So then it'll probably be closer to the back to 2 weeks after that.
Nice.
So, well, yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll go ahead and start off with talking about our recent pickups and the one-ups and pickup sections.
Yes.
So why don't we start with Jaden? What are
Awesome.
some of your recent pickups?
Goodwill find. I found Simpsons Road Rage for the Xbox.
Nice.
Road Rage. That's the Grand Theft Auto of Simpsons games, right?
I want to say this is the Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, that's what I was
one.
going to say. I remember playing this
Crazy
game.
Yeah,
Taxi
so I
one.
think that one is more expensive. But
Okay.
I remember hearing about this one and just kind of being mad, like, they just ripped off Crazy Taxi. It looks exactly the same. And apparently back then it was kind of a big deal. But
Yeah, I remember playing this game. It was fun.
yeah, recently I actually got into The Simpsons for the first time. I was one of those families. The parents didn't watch Simpsons, but now I'm older. I can watch whatever I want.
Try to stop me now, Mom.
And I love The Simpsons. And I'm like, wait, Crazy Taxi. I love Crazy. Well, and it was also at Goodwill, so of course I picked it up. So, but I was really happy to find this one because.
Gotta love those Goodwill finds.
Oh yeah. And speaking of, this was just the other day. Found some translucent green OG Xbox controllers.
That's such a
found
pretty
two.
controller.
I
Two
know,
of them
right?
at the same
Yeah.
Oh my
store,
gosh,
huh?
I love it.
Yeah, I usually
Or
give
they
in
do
when
they
I
have the? Oh, this one has the breakaway.
That one
piece.
does. This one doesn't, but I have a spare.
Dude,
So
that's awesome.
Nice.
I figured.
I don't feel like I ever see
Can I
controllers
hold
older
one of
than
these puppies?
Sure.
I see 360 controllers a lot,
Yes.
and that's about it. Like I don't feel like I see many other controllers.
Yeah, it's not common, but when I do come across them, I just always have to get them. I have to rescue them.
Yeah.
I have way too many controllers in my house.
Yeah.
Jesse knows,
Yes.
but
This is a nice control. This was like the beginning of Xbox controller perfection, honestly. Like they got it after this
oh
point.
yeah.
Yeah, because the Duke was too big. But there are some people that love the Duke. The big hand people,
Oh.
like with really big hands, the Duke was perfect for them. But yeah, the smaller Xbox controller was really nice.
I love that controller, especially for like a lot of certain games on Xbox, like racing games. It is wonderful little controller. So I was happy to find those guys.
Yeah, no,
Nice
that's
finds,
awesome.
dude.
Thank you.
Gotta love a good Goodwill find.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
What do you guys got?
All right, I'll go next.
Nice.
So this is an interesting pickup because usually our pickups are things that we recently bought. But this was not something I recently bought. These are things that I had. So it's kind of cheating.
You picked them up.
It's
It-
fine.
it fits.
yeah,
them up.
yeah.
And I didn't know I had them anymore. So I think I've talked about it before, but before I got married, I used to do a lot of Goodwilling, both to collect and to sell, because I didn't have a lot of money. So it was how I'd fund, different, basically my collecting hobby. But anything I didn't have too much interest in, I'd put away, and I'd sell it eventually. But I went to a lot of Goodwills, and I didn't keep up on the selling, so I ended up having a bunch of stuff that I just that never got sold, and apparently some of it ended up in the shed at my sister's house, which luckily was insulated, so it stayed in pretty good shape. But yeah, I found some boxes, a bunch of stuff I didn't know I had, but one of them had a bunch of Goodwill games. Some of them were doubles, some of them were super trash too because they were Goodwill games. I don't know why I even bought them. But I gave some away, but these were the ones I kept. 3 of these I didn't even know were in this box, and I immediately put them in the collection because they're all Dragon Ball games that I didn't have currently. And I knew I'd had these at one point, but I didn't realize I didn't have them anymore. That I didn't know what happened to them. So apparently they ended up in this box, but it's Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, Budokai Tenkaichi, and Super Dragon Ball Z. So all 3 are fighting games. But yeah, I was happy to get these back, and not having to pay for them is nice, though none of these are crazy expensive.
The cover on that Budokai 2 is sick. I love it. Yeah, with the Boo in the background.
That's one to get that you should get on GameCube, because this was one of the only Dragon Ball games that made it to GameCube. And then a couple other PS2 games. I got The Legend of Spyro: The Eternal Night, which I never played past the very original Spyro, but I've heard that there was a trilogy on PS2 and Xbox, and that this was one of them, and this trilogy was good. Not as warmly remembered as the original Spyro trilogy, but anyway, excited to have it. Hopefully I'll play it one day. And then I'm an anime fan, and I used to watch Inuyasha back on Toonami. I don't remember it too well. I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but finding Inuyasha for PS2 was kind of a cool find too. This one doesn't have the manual, but the others are all complete. And then lastly, there was 2 PS1 games in there that I kept as well. One was Twisted Metal 3, which I never played Twisted Metal 3. And I know it's when it changed to 989 Studios, and not as many people liked it then. Oh. But I love the first 2 Twisted Metals, and I love Twisted Metal Black and Twisted Metal Head On. So I'm excited to actually give this a try. Nice. And then Dino Crisis, which I've always wanted to play, and was one of the games on my list of games I wanted to get. Actively wanted to get, so I was pretty happy to find it in that box, because I definitely wanted to play it. I was going to get it on Dreamcast, but now I don't have to. I'll just play it on PS1. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of an exciting day, because I didn't even want to... I almost told my sister, if I don't know what's in there, I'm not missing it, so just throw it all out. Oh, no. But then I had a moment of like, what if there is something in there that I'll actually miss? And on top of this, there was other things too that I thought that I'd lost or thrown away or something, or sold. I just thought were missing, not game related. But yeah, there was a bunch of stuff. So I was pretty excited. One of the things I found, I should have added it to this though, was when I worked at GameStop, I had somehow acquired from the Nintendo rep a button-up Mario Galaxy shirt. So it's an actual button-up, and on one side of it, it has like the picture of Mario from the cover of Mario Galaxy, and then it says Nintendo, and it has Wii on the sleeve. Oh, man. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they ever sold it. I think it was just a promotional item. So that was cool. I was happy to find that. I thought that was long gone.
That's really cool.
Anyway, so yeah, not recent purchases by any means, but I did buy them at some point.
Yeah, and they're things you wanted now. So it's like, you know that phrase, if you want something done, do it yourself.
I did it
10
myself.
Years ago.
Yeah, it was my my psychic powers looking into the future and hiding them from myself. Mm-hmm. You'll want these one day. Very nice. So yeah, so I'm excited about these.
A little bit of a time capsule that you just you forgot you dug up or something.
Yeah. Ooh, fun time capsule.
It's like Tears of the Kingdom when the sword gets transported through time in the beginning. You know? So good. You just did that to yourself.
I'm so smart. All right, Jimmy.
All right, I'm going to lead off with one that Chris actually gifted me just recently as an anniversary gift. It is a Game Boy Color game, complete in box. It is Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest. Rated E for everyone.
Oh, yeah. Even your kids can play this one, folks.
So I don't know how many Ken Griffey Jr. games there are on the Game Boy or the Game Boy Color. I'm guessing this is the only one, though I'm not. There's another one?
There's 2 on Game Boy Color and 1 on Game Boy.
Wow. That's awesome.
Is it about slugs or something?
So for those that aren't aware, and we've talked about this before probably, but Ken Griffey Jr. was the face of baseball. He just was in the 90s, and that was maybe the funnest era to watch baseball. What I would do, what I would pay to get a player of this caliber on the current Seattle Mariners roster again. I'll tell you, it's more than the Seattle Mariners organization will actually pay for a player.
You would pay more than the Mariners?
It's a joke that they never spend any money on any players. So I'm digging at my own team. But anyways, this is really cool. Thanks again. You're welcome. For those that haven't already heard, I am trying to collect a copy of every game that has a Seattle sports athlete on the cover. That's one of my current focused collection goals. And so this is just one more to add to the pile, I suppose.
Yeah, if you didn't know, we're from the Seattle area.
We are.
Surprise.
Oh.
Yes. Do you know where Seattle is, listeners?
Can you find Seattle on a map? It's like Blue's Clues or North Explorer. Good job.
You'd be surprised, man. There's probably a lot of people on the East Coast and the South that probably couldn't like
Whoa, bro.
pick it out in a map. Like,
I
I'm
mean-
taking shots now at like people in the rest of the country, but you'd probably be surprised.
I didn't say that.
I'm just saying, how many people here don't
Jimmy
know?
said that.
How
Look
many
him up.
Chris, think about this. How many people don't know where the state of Maine is, like here in Washington, or people don't know where like the state of like Tennessee is, if you had to point it on a map? A lot of people.
Tennessee's right above Florida, isn't it?
Ish.
At least I know those are states. There's some people who don't even know Washington is a state. You say, "Oh, I'm from Washington." They're like, "The capital?" You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Exactly.
It's like, no.
Strengthens my point.
Yeah.
Geography lessons on X Button Gaming.
You know, there's a lot of
That's why you're
people
here,
that
right?
don't like people from Washington State. I feel like this might be why.
Is it the Seattle Freeze?
I don't know what that even means.
You didn't know what that is?
No.
Okay, let's not get into it.
Apparently, I am out. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Apparently, we're kind of cold and different when people come and visit people. in
I like to
Washington.
believe I'm not one of those people.
I agree. I don't think you epitomize the Seattle Freeze.
Thank you. I'm
I think
more
I'd probably do
that
to some
southern
degree.
hospitality over
me
here.
too.
Are we freezies?
I don't know the definition. And I won't respond to that.
Are you a freeze? Are you?
I don't wanna be in a freezy with you.
or not? You wanna be a we just made a new term that is going to last forever, I'm sure.
A freezy?
A freezy.
Oh man.
I'll be freezing.
This has gone way off the walls. What were we talking about again? Oh yeah, Seattle Mariners. I got a game about Ken Griffey Jr. Thank you, Chris.
that
I
thing
love
is
you.
pristine and
It's
shiny.
it's in very good shape, and yes, it has all the inserts, and the instruction booklet, and it just takes me back to a time when things were simpler, and my baseball team was reliable.
Yeah. That was a while ago. And you have the analog pocket, so it'll look nice. on
Yes,
the-
I'm very excited to play it on that. Yes,
Yeah. Another step in your collection for Seattle sports.
yes, sir.
All right, Jaden, back to you.
Right on. So my GameStop finds, it was like a few weeks ago. They were just like selling a lot of Xbox One, Xbox Series games for just like stupid cheap. And they're not games that I was necessarily like looking for, but I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll pick up Battlefront for 99 cents.
Love that game.
This game, Space Base Startopia, it was $1.
Dude, I'd pay $1 for that.
Okay. Arcade-geddon, $5.
Hey, it's a fun game.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It was free on PlayStation Plus
right
like a year ago, but it's a fun multiplayer game.
Sweet. Actually, this one was Goodwill, but I found Forza Motorsport 7.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice,
I was
man.
like, I might as well. I like the more arcadey racers than this is the more realistic sim ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not the Forza Horizon.
Horizon is the
Okay.
more arcadey one.
Well, it was still cool to
Yeah.
find. And then Scarlet Nexus, I believe this one was, I want to say 99 cents.
Dude, it's so
also.
cheap.
I'm
I-
just like, what?
I bought that game on PS5 during one of their sales. I got it for like $5, but
Oh,
which
still.
is still cheap. But I know
That's insane.
Christian, Bird Dog Gaming, played it. Like, we've talked about it. He really liked that game a lot. It's on my list. It looks good.
Oh, sweet. And then this one I didn't know existed. It's called Recore. Mm-hmm. It's a Xbox console exclusive. There's something that caught my eye. Well, first it was $2.99, so I was like, oh, okay, what is this? On the back it says, "Experience a new masterpiece from Keiji Inafune and the makers of Metroid Prime." I'm like, what?
That's a
On-
pretty
yeah, like on
Inafune
the
is the Resident
Mighty
Evil.
Number 9
oh,
creator.
Oh, Mega Man. Mega Man guy. Yeah.
Just kidding. He made Mega Man. I'll give him credit.
So fun. So that's a game I have. Like, I don't have a Xbox One right now, but it's a game I want because it looks fun. But something to keep an eye out for is the definitive edition.
I was going to mention that too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I stole the win
No,
from your
you're
sales.
good. I'm glad you knew it also. Yeah, because that one fetches for a lot more than that. This doesn't go for too much, like $6, but the other one's like $40.
Oh, really?
I don't exactly know why it's that.
It's one of those games with the DLC's on the disc.
Oh, okay.
So it
So-
actually has extra content, and GameStop doesn't have a different SKU for it.
So it's Recore
So-
Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
This
that's
game
the-
looks pretty
I-
cool, honestly.
It's
Oh,
a game
yeah.
I always look for when I go to GameStop because it is one of the Xbox games that when I get an Xbox One with a disc drive, I'm gonna want to play it. So that's a super good find.
That'll do it for
I mean,
this round.
that whole stack was almost like $10.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just add
this
to-
wasn't all at once, but yeah.
How aesthetically pleasing a stack of Xbox One and Xbox Series X games are. Like the green just pops, man. It just looks so much better than a stack of any other consoles games, just color wise. I just love it. And it's this.
Well, you are
the
a
time
little
is ticking. I'm a little biased. It is true, but also it is sad because soon those will just poof. They'll just snap away and be gone forever.
Yeah, that's true.
The latest, what they're talking about doesn't give me much hope.
But there is some games, especially with the green, look nicer. It just depends. Some games look better with the blue, in my opinion. Some look better with the green.
Alien Isolation should be an Xbox game on the shelf. It's green.
Another one too. I was looking at. I don't remember where I was, but it was a site that was comparing game cover art, where it wasn't even, the cover art wasn't necessarily even different between the consoles, but just how it looked in the different cases. And some of them didn't look all that much better, but one that stuck out to me was Resident Evil 7 because it's got a really creepy cover. But the blue doesn't make it pop like the green did. Like, I don't know what it was. Some games just really make it pop on that green, and then like I said, other games really pop on the blue case. So I think it just depends, but that's how I'll buy all my games going forward.
Yeah, that's a valid determining factor. Is
If it's multi-plat.
but, I mean, it's going to be sitting on your shelf anyway. You want it to look good.
I really want it to pop.
I'm gangrene all the way.
Gross.
Cancerous. Okay.
Oh,
He's what is it? Freezy and cancerous.
Freezy gangrene, baby.
Nasty. All right. So this next stack, I know it's funny to say stack, but these were all games that I got when I was with. Oh, that one's not.
Oh,
R.I.P. I was with James and Jaden and our friend Ben. We went and hit Collector's Haven and a couple of Goodwills.
that was pretty fun.
And all of these I got that day, I believe.
has it been that long since our last collectors? Yeah. Wow.
We haven't done one since then.
What was that this year? Or was it last year? Was it like the end of last year?
It was January.
January?
Yeah, it was in
January
January
last year?
January last year. So just to go over them really quick. So at Collector's Haven, he has a really nice dollar section.
Yeah.
And I went a little nuts. Well, not really. This isn't that many, I guess, when you're considering they're $1 a piece. But I got a couple of loose games. I got R-Type Command for PSP. I got Soul Bubbles for DS. I don't even know what this one is, but I was like, it's $1. And I never heard of it, and that reason alone I grabbed it. And then I got Bomberman Max Blue Champion for Game Boy Color. And I played that one a little bit, and it's actually really fun. And apparently there's a red version, too, and the two games were kind of supposed to be like the Pokemon type thing, where you can link them together and unlock things or battle each other and stuff. So pretty cool. I was happy with all those. And then the rest of the games I got that day, I got Jet Moto 2 for PS1, a game I had on my list. I want to get all the Jet Moto games because I have a lot of fond memories of those. Motorstorm for PS3. This one wasn't one I got there. This was actually a Jaden. Cross Edge for PS3 as well, which is like a tactical RPG. But he had this in a box of stuff he was going to trade in because he didn't want it, and I was like, "How about I just buy it from you?" So then I got Star Trek for Xbox 360. I didn't even know this game existed. It's based off of the movies, the J.J. Abrams movie, because it's got Chris Pine and
Zachary Quinto.
Quinto, the dude Siler from Heroes. So yeah, for $1 I just got it. I was like, I don't know anything about this game.
Sure.
But, Lumines Plus for PS2. I like Lumines. I was like, that's kind of cool to have it on PS2. And then Excite Truck, which I actually got at a Goodwill that day for $3.
Nice.
So yeah, that was a nice stack of games. And then I'm just going to add it in here because it was in the stack. But then on eBay for $1 plus $2 shipping, I bought 007 Quantum of Solace for PS3.
Oh man.
It was just looking at ending soon auctions, and I saw this and I was like, I've heard this game is good, and I like James Bond. So that was a nice
as good
stack.
as the movie is.
And then one other game I got was Time Commando for PS1. This was also at Collector's Haven. It was about $10. I don't know anything about this game. I just thought it looked really cool because you go like all throughout time and fight dinosaurs and cavemen, and then you go into the future and fight robots and stuff. I was like, I don't know, it looks wacky. So that's it for that stack. But yeah, man, if you guys are ever in the area and you go out to Port Orchard, or you want to go out to Port Orchard, Collector's Haven is the place to go. Great deals.
Nice guy.
And Jaden
And
doesn't live
Wes
far
is
from there.
super
He'll
nice.
make you some pizza or something.
I'll give you a high five.
I'm not making these promises.
Yeah, don't forget he's Frosty or Freezy.
He's not. He's not a.
Go to the
yeah,
store,
sure,
don't talk to me. You'll probably find me at the store, actually.
Yeah, he'll be there.
I'd linger.
All right, Jimmy, back to you.
Okay, so I was recently, last night, in Longview, Washington, which is a city near the bottom of the state for all you people that live in Tennessee and Maine and the people we made fun of earlier. I was trying to find something to add to my one-ups and pickups, so I had more to talk about, and I am sorry to say that there are no retro game stores at all in Longview, Washington, which is really sad. Or Kelso, Washington either. I looked. There's like 4 different stores that have they're like TCG, like kind of like game stores, board games, etc. So
video game
it's sad
stores.
when your only retro game option is a GameStop. I went to the GameStop. I didn't find anything that was what I was looking for. But you know what? I went to Target. And at Target, they had a game that I have actually been wanting to play really bad. And it was half off because it's made by Ubisoft. And that always happens eventually when it's Ubisoft. And you've played it, so you have something to say. So I got this for half off,
yeah.
50% off. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, a Ubisoft original. I'm very excited to play this game.
No, it's super good. You'll like it.
I've had it on my short list since it got released because it's had so much positive reception.
Yeah, and it's a good Switch game too. I played it on my PS5, but it is definitely a game that doesn't need the next gen graphics or anything. I hear it's a little slower when you die and you like load back in, but other than that, like it'll be a perfect Switch game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that game. And half off is a fantastic price.
Yeah.
So it was what, 30 then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
Yep.
I
And with
loved it.
5% off red card discount.
Oh my god. Does the 5% come off from the $60 price or the $30 price?
The $30 price.
That makes most sense.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if it came off the $60
This is a
price.
scam if it comes off the price that's discount. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to play that. The other thing I have, which let me see here. I think I made a note of it. Yes. I pre-ordered this October 23rd, 2022.
Ooh, it's a limited run game then.
Yes, it is. So it came like a couple weeks ago. So what is that? A year and a half? Okay, here it is. I've been waiting for this for a while.
Coming out.
It's coming out. It is River City Girls 2 Ultimate Edition.
Oh man, that is a big box.
Am I going to open this live on the show? I think not. Because I'm not even sure if I'm going to open it at all at this point. But I'm considering it. I probably will. I just don't want to do it right now for time's sake. And I just...
Yeah, if we were doing like a video, then it would make sense.
Yeah, for a video, it would make a lot of
It'd
sense.
be very anticlimactic
For those
if
who
people
aren't-
listen to you unwrap it.
For those not watching the vid, this is it is a large box, brown, with basically a portrait of 3 of the characters from the franchise.
Those look like dudes.
They do look like dudes, don't they?
Aren't they? Isn't
Except
the
the-
second game the guys going to save the girls?
I
that's a girl.
I believe so.
One
Yeah,
of
there's
them's a girl.
definitely a girl here, and 2 guys that are probably freezies, and
Freezers.
but here's what is contained in the box: physical copy of River City Girls 2. River City Girls 2 digital download code. River City Girls 2 retro styled box. River City, I think, or maybe
Inside
there's one.
the
Maybe
box
maybe
is
there's
the box?
maybe there's actually. I think there's another box on the inside that's a
okay.
retro box. I'll have to double check that.
Oh.
River City Girls Ultimate Edition collector's box. So that is this.
Okay.
2
in the
disc
box?
official River City Girls 2 soundtracks. I'm
Okay,
pretty and
soundtracks
the
are
soundtracks for these games are
They're good.
held in very high regard. A group Polaroid, which I'm assuming this is the Polaroid it's based off, but I'm really not sure. A reversible poster, reverse side features world map. That's pretty cool. Sticker pack, which is pretty standard for collector's editions. Bibu plush, squeeze it and it talks.
Oh wow, let's go, Bee Boo.
I don't know who Bibu is because I haven't even played River City Girls 1 yet. Because I'm looking for it physical because I don't want to open the copy of it that I have because it's a PAX variant. We've gone over this before. And Jaden still hasn't found it for me yet in all of the searching that he does. So
it's all my fault
I blame
that
Jaden.
you haven't even played your
If he
favorite
wasn't
video
such-
game series.
Shut up.
He really fights.
You are such a freezy right now.
Dude, I do not sleep at night knowing this. It's terrible.
It made
Imagine
me
how
really-
I feel.
The last time you brought up the Team Shantae versus Team River City Girls, it made me happy that Jaden was the one who was like, yeah. So he mentioned that you still hadn't played it.
Listen, I am a fan in spirit. Before, I mean,
I don't even know what that means.
I'm just a fan of the brand right now. Is all I can say.
I'm a brand fan.
I'm a brand fan.
That's okay. I have a
You
ton
know
of
what I
games.
love? Girls, rivers, and cities.
I am a. So you ever heard of a bandwagoner? I'm a brandwagoner.
Yeah, heck yeah. James doesn't even care if it's good or bad.
I'm a brandwagoning freezy. Okay, leave me alone. Anyways, what else is in this box? A Vampire Puncher 2 Retro Cart keychain. I didn't know there were vampires in this series.
You know how you would have known that?
Oh man, this guy.
I hope they're like the ones from World War Z. I don't know. Let's get in.
Those are zombies.
Okay, whatever.
Infected zombies.
Koski's Press Pass. I don't
Doesn't
even
even
know
know
what
the
that is.
character's name.
Wait. That's the first time I've read it. Okay, I got it right at the end. It's Koski's. I'm pretty sure. Skullmageddon coupon. I don't know what that is for.
Oh my gosh, play this game. I will buy
And-
this game for you.
And you haven't
Digital?
yet.
No.
Digital.
Just to make it end.
You're gonna gift it to me on the eShop.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get a little. Oh, you didn't even get. There's not even a messaging system on the Switch. How would I even know
yeah.
that I got it?
Remember Wii? You could do that. You could like buy
Yeah.
your friend a game. That was so weird.
Switch took a step back, but you can gift games on the eShop on the Switch, right? I feel like you can. Anyways, finally, Ken's Boss Emblem enamel pin. So there is a buttload of stuff in this Ultimate Edition, and the reason I got it, other than the fact that I'm a
He's a
I'm
rabid.
a ravenous poser of a River City Girls fan, is that the first collector's edition is worth a lot. I don't know what exactly, but I remember we looked it up and we did this Nintendo Switch episode, and so I was like trying to beat to the demand. But I'm really happy I got this, honestly, and it looks pretty cool. And I'm sure the
You're
game.
gonna have to open it, or else we'll all just call you a poser.
I am not opening it right now. I will not succumb to pressure.
Oh, not right now.
Okay.
I don't
I mean,
wanna wait
I'm
for
glad
you.
you
I
got
will
it.
be opening it.
I'm glad you
yes.
got it for this price and not the secondhand market price like the first one
Yeah.
is going for or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Appreciate you. Yeah, this is probably. Oh, I'm sure this is already marked up too if you try to find it, but.
$2.
Two. Yes, two.
$2.
Anyways, so those are some other games that I got on the Switch.
Yeah. Well, good job.
Thank you.
That's some
Nah.
good gets.
I look forward to the next time you're on a normal episode where we can talk about what you've been playing.
And
you'll
it's River City Girls.
River City Girls all day.
I know. What's funny is I've actually played Shredder's Revenge, a different beat 'em up,
Before,
recently, and I played that before River City Girls, the one I want to play.
And you realized
guy.
I don't like this genre.
No, actually,
sucks.
Shredder's Revenge kind of rules, honestly.
Oh, no,
It's-
yeah, I
it's
hear it. I
really,
hear nothing but
it's
amazing
really
things.
fun, and it's like you can get like 6 people or 8 people, a crazy amount of people, which is fun. Anyways, moving on.
crazy amount of people. All right, Jaden.
All right. Some DS games.
Ooh, DS is always fun.
I know this game is terrible, but I couldn't help myself. I had to check it out. Burnout Legends for the
Nice.
DS. I love the PSP game so much. I had to pick this one up. It was super, super cheap. The guy cut me a deal on top of it, so I went for it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then this one I was really happy to find. I posted on the Discord, Aliens Infestation.
Nice.
In, I was going to say Atlas. A Way Forward.
Is it?
Yeah, Way Forward, Gearbox. I can't read. Yeah, I like it. This 2D side scrolly. Yeah, go ahead, look at it. I remember when this game came out, it was kind of late in the DS's lifetime. And again, I was still in like high school time. And it looked cool. I liked Alien.
It looks really cool.
Oh, yeah. And it got like super good reviews and everything. It's a, sorry, Joel, Metroidvania.
Yeah.
And apparently a really solid one, not too long. I think at the time I passed because, you know, $20 for something you don't need. You're not super itching to play at the moment, you know. And when you're in high school, to me, that was like, it might as well have been like $200.
Exactly.
So, and then I was just really disheartened to like see it now. Like, oh, what's that Alien game? And then I come to find out it's going for like $80 to $100. And I'm like,
Really?
dang it. And so I was so
crazy.
happy to find it at a GameStop on the shelf.
Dude, yeah. With the case and everything. Like,
Yeah.
you can't beat that.
Oh, yeah. Because I brought it up to the counter because it was just the, because they don't have the game inside. But I opened it up, had no manual. I'm like, dang it. And so like I brought it up to the counter. I'm like, this probably doesn't have the manual, does it? And she's like, no, probably not. But then she like grabs the game, and with the game, they put the manual in the little sleeve.
so
and she's like,
random.
oh, whoa.
I would've never
You
thought
got
that.
lucky.
That's
Like,
awesome.
oh my gosh.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
awesome, man.
So I was really happy with that.
I think it's okay to call that a Metroidvania in this case because Metroid was actually inspired by aliens. So
Oh, yeah. So
There's a-
should we call Metroid games
Alienvania.
Alienvania?
heck yeah,
Oh, that sounds rad, actually.
yeah I kind of like that.
And then keeping it on brand, Split Second for the
Ooh.
360. Have you guys heard of this one?
Yeah, it's the Disney game.
Yeah.
It's the one. I remember when it came out. It had a lot of hype, but then it didn't end up doing as well as they wanted. But I'm trying to remember. There was a gimmick to it, but I don't remember what it was.
So you're like racing in the city. I remember watching my brother play this, and like as you're like just going through, a racing game, it's just racing through the city. This one, like crazy stuff is happening, kind of like Ready Player One. Like planes are falling out of the sky, and like the whole terrain is like changing. You're just like dodging all these like just debris and crazy stuff happening. I remember it looked pretty sick when my brother, like I said, he played it. He had a 360 for a little bit. I saw this and I was like, sure, why not? It's only $7.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
$7.99.
And you love
Yeah.
racing games.
Oh
so-
yeah,
Maybe by Disney.
yeah.
Interesting, or maybe published.
I believe it's a oddly a Disney game.
Interesting.
Can't wait to see the movie.
And then this one, I didn't know what it was, but I just saw the title and the picture and just thought,
It looks cool.
heck yeah,
That looks great, man.
Golden Axe Beast Rider is a 360 exclusive, I believe.
Is it?
Not very good reviewed. I looked it up after I bought it, but it just looks crazy. Like I'll test this out.
For sure. And I've come to realize there's something with the 360 and PS3 time period where I think a lot of reviewers started to take themselves too seriously. And like, I don't think a lot of games, there are going to be some stinkers, but I don't think as many games are as bad as they reviewed them back then. I think it's because their expectations started to get too high.
Yeah, definitely. This one I did look up like the one of the videos that popped up when I was just watching stuff about it was apparently this was in like production hell for quite some time, so it kind of explains why it turned out the way it did, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, it just looks rad.
Yeah,
I don't
this
care.
this cover is fire, man. It's so cool.
I know, right? And like with retro games, like we're not all the time are we sitting down and spending 60 hours plus, playing a
Yeah.
20 plus year old game.
Yeah.
I don't think this is 20 years old, but you know what I mean.
It's just supposed to be fun.
I just, even if it's a bad game, I
Yeah.
will throw it on and see what it is all
It's
about.
cool just to dip your toes in, see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Dip my toesies.
Just sorry, I just said it's a cool cover without even describing it. It's this chick with like armor, like riding this like monster.
Yeah.
And it just looks so rad.
It looks like a really cool comic book cover.
Oh
So
yeah.
and it's obviously loosely based off of the Golden Axe games from Genesis, I would think.
They were
Yeah.
trying to like kind of bring it back, but with a more, that era's more serious tone.
That
but,
flair of the mid 2000s.
oh yeah, remember that Bomberman game that was like,
Zero.
yeah, that was
But
just
they
like,
totally didn't
what
look like
the
Bomberman
heck?
at all. But, yeah, that game was supposedly pretty bad, but I want to play it. Now I want to know how if it really is as bad as people said. It sure definitely like they went for like a post-apocalyptic like robot looking thing instead of Bomberman's cutesy little characters.
Yeah. It's like, why? Oh, this is the thing to do. That then
Why not? I guess
that'll do it for me.
All right. So my last pickups here. So Jaden, when he came by today, he had picked up just the case and instructions for Burnout Legends, because he'd already managed to find me just the game for Burnout Legends for PSP. So now I have a complete copy
Yeah.
Nice.
of Burnout Legends for PSP, and I mean, I got it for really cheap. I mean, overall, I think the game was $1. I don't remember if you made me pay for it. So
No, yeah, it was just just $1. This was like $5 at Collector's Haven, and I asked him like,
Nice.
I'll pay the $5, but you can keep the game, And he just told me, just looked at me and my like dead in the face, was like, no, he doesn't want it, so I had to get the game. So
you will take all of it.
it's like, no, I don't want it. Like, okay.
Well, I'm excited. I
guess
love
I'll
having
take
a case to it. And I've actually played this game after you got it for me. It was right about the time I'd found my
so
PSP.
good.
And I played quite a bit of it. It's a ton of fun. It plays so well on the PSP.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Feels just like the console versions.
It does. And then another game I got was for the PS5. I got Kena Bridge of Spirits. It's like a 3D action platformer. It's something I've wanted to play since it came out, but I hadn't played it. I actually rented it through GameFly because I still do GameFly. And then they give me coupons every couple months, like a 15% off coupon or 25% off coupon if I keep the game. And then I had a $5 off coupon too. So I ended up only paying like $6 for this.
Oh, nice. PS5.
But I've wanted to play it for a while. And with the cool thing about GameFly is if you do buy anything that you rent from them, they send you... You'll already have the disc, and they'll send you the case and all the inserts unused. So it has the deluxe edition inserts with it, and like some stickers and stuff too. So
That's nicer than GameStop. Sending you a new game that's clearly used.
yeah, 100% nicer than GameStop. And then my last pickup, the biggest pickup, I guess, in this series for me, was the Shantae and the Pirate's Curse 3DS version from Limited Run, the big box. So kind of like James's, it's not as big as James's. It didn't come with as much stuff. But if people remember, there was some controversy around Shantae and the Pirate's Curse 3DS re-release. The big box got leaked, and some people were selling it on OfferUp and eBay, and it never been released by Limited Run. So people are like, where did this come from? Turned out that was an early version that there was a printing error with, and they weren't going to sell that version, so it wasn't supposed to have ever gotten out to the public. This version, so then about a month later, it ended up going live on Limited Run, and this version has something different in it. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, so yeah, it's the 3DS game, and it came with a couple other things, a postcard set, a double-sided poster, a soundtrack, and then a Game Boy Color style box with a Game Boy Color replica cartridge.
Ooh.
The cartridge itself doesn't work, it's just a display piece. But it's pretty cool that it even comes with it.
I love it.
So, and it was only like $60.
It looks
which
really good,
Didn't
dude.
feel that expensive.
It looks really good.
Yeah, so I was excited to get that. Now, this is possibly the last 3DS game released, but it's also kind of a cheat because it's a reprint of a 3DS game that had already been released. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to take that, but it's been my goal to get whatever the last 3DS game that came out was. So if this was it,
I love it, dude.
I still have it.
I have like a little bit of FOMO and regret that maybe I should have got that and didn't. But you know what? I'm Team RCG.
Yeah,
And
you can't get that.
yeah, it would be a little bit sacrilegious. But also, now that we both brought a collector's edition of our rival franchises, I think we should maybe like do like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots kind of battle between them, like right now.
like our boxes,
Yeah.
or just you and me, we start punching each other.
Either or.
Whoever wins, I join their team.
Oh man, they're both down. Jaden wins. Oh man, so that's it for my pickups. So we're gonna go on to James. I believe you have an issue of a certain magazine with you.
It
right?
is. It is.
So what time is it?
It is.
Wait.
What? Oh my god!
James did not know that was coming.
Wow!
I
that was
figured not.
courtesy of Jaden.
That was so good. Oh man!
And just for one more time, in case anybody wants to hear it again.
That is so great, man. I think I'm gonna cry. No, that is so good, dude. I'm lit. I'm fired up. Let's go.
yeah. Let's go.
Power Hour.
Power
What you
Hour.
got?
All right. So what I got is let's see here. Nintendo Power Volume 164, January 2003. This also was a anniversary gift. However, this time it was from Hannah. So I know there's a little bit of an anniversary theme to this episode because a lot of the stuff I got I didn't get for myself, but I had people that love me that got things for me. So thank you.
Hey guys, my anniversary's on August 28th.
Is it really?
Maybe.
Noted.
Duly noted.
Noted. All right, so let's go to page 20. I'd like to open up to this page, assuming this section is in the era of the magazine I've chosen. It is the Power Charts 164. I'm not going to show you this time because I want to play a short little bit of a game. So the top selling games, they have top 10 listed here between Game Boy Advanced and the Nintendo GameCube, which were the two consoles of this era in 2003 for Nintendo, and they were kind of in a really good spot because this is when bangers were getting dropped left and right from those two consoles. So, top 5 for let's go with GameCube. Which of these top 5 were the top 3? I'm gonna give you 5. You have to select what the top 3 are sellers of this month. All right, Star Fox Adventures, Animal Crossing, Mario Party 4, Super Mario Sunshine, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee.
Oh,
these were
I have to vote for that one.
These were the top 5 sellers, but what were the top 3?
Animal Crossing, Sunshine, Mario Party 4.
I already forgot the.
Other two were Godzilla
what was the
and Star
Godzilla?
Fox Adventure.
Oh, I'll swap maybe Mario Party with Godzilla.
All right, so what are your so is it fair finals again? Go to your finals?
Animal Crossing, Mario Party 4, Sunshine. Did I have to do them in order from 1 to 3?
No, it doesn't matter.
Just the
okay.
3.
All right, so number 3, Super Mario Sunshine. Number 2, Star Fox Adventures. Number 1, not Godzilla.
I was like, what?
That
plays with our hearts.
That would be just pandering if I said that, and it would be a lie, and it would be unkind. Mario Party 4 was the top seller this month. Yeah. But those other two were, and Godzilla cracked the top 5, so that is nothing to scoff at right there. No. All right, so
Exclusive at the time?
Mm-hmm. Was it really?
Yeah, it came to Xbox later, but yeah, it was advertised as like a GameCube exclusive.
Nice. Well, it's kind of cool to know that it got like some good reception and people were stoked about it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty solid.
All right, so here goes Game Boy Advanced, same game, top 5. Pick the top 3. Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3. Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Eternal Duelist Soul. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories. Dragon Ball Z, The Legacy of Goku. Am I pandering again this time? Or am I not pandering?
I'm gonna say Legacy of Goku and the two Marios. I don't think either of the Yu-Gi-Ohs made top 3.
All right, what do you think?
I think Yu-Gi-Oh was booming back then. I'm gonna say top 2 Mario and Yoshi, and what was the second Yu-Gi-Oh you said?
Dark Duel Stories.
I'll do that one.
Okay, number 3, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories.
He's already got one up on me.
Number 2, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3. He's on a roll. Number 1, can I get a drum roll? Yu-Gi-Oh! The Eternal Duelist Soul.
Yo!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Was on fire,
Apparently.
man.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Trying to find those Yu-Gi-Oh games with the promo cards they came with is apparently like a really hard feat.
Is it really?
Yeah, like because you can find them. You can find the games easy. You can find them complete in box without the cards relatively easy. But trying to find them with the promo cards is a whole nother.
Interesting.
Trying to find all of them with the promo cards, like across Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and I think they're even on DS and PS2 and GameCube. And they always came with a promo card.
That's really cool.
So it would be.
I didn't know that.
Which Pokemon games came with a Pokemon card? That'd be awesome.
That would be nice.
Did Pokemon TCG on Game Boy? That seems like a game that would have come with a promo card.
Yeah, I actually have
okay.
that card. It came with a Meowth card, but
Yeah.
none of the other Pokemon games came with one, other than the e-reader cards. I think.
No,
Gen 3
ironically,
games
you
came
were
with
more
e-reader
likely to
cards.
get a promo card from a Nintendo Power issue than you were a game
game.
itself. All right, so, anyways, thank you for playing that little game.
That was fun.
I had to incorporate a game show of some sort,
Yeah.
and I
It
hope
was
you
a
enjoyed
fun
it.
little game.
We learned some things.
I got spanked in the Game Boy Advance.
To give you an idea of how good games were right now in this era of Nintendo, Player's Choice won for both consoles, Metroid Prime, Metroid Fusion.
Wow, yeah.
They dropped
They
two-
dropped the same day.
Yeah, did they really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So it must have been really recent because I think there's an article later about Metroid Prime. And the most wanted game of the time, top 3, Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy, Crystal Chronicles, Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. That's what
I have
people were
still
wanting.
never played Crystal Chronicles, and I've always wanted to play that game.
Yeah.
But it was very inaccessible when you're a kid, teenager, and you had to have three or four people with
Did
the
you need
cables
that?
and Game Boy Advances.
You couldn't play it without?
I don't think so. I think that was
weird.
its whole gimmick, was that you needed the Game Boy Advance because was your whole inventory screen and your whole how you did anything. I don't know if anybody could play with a GameCube controller.
They've
Don't
been-
quote me on that because I've never played it. But
Just remember, you heard it here first, people. Since 2003, Nintendo has been trying to cross mobile with console via stuff.
I'm just gonna say you probably didn't hear it here first.
Well, anyways, it's a pretty decent segue, Crystal Chronicles, because on page 27, they did a little thing here. Epic Center, breaking news. Just before we went to press, Nintendo Power received 2 late-breaking notices. The first was news that RPG giants Square and Enix have decided to merge into one company. And the second was a batch of incredible Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles screenshots. So I didn't realize it was 2003 when that news got dropped.
Yeah, that was pretty huge, man.
21 years ago.
Yeah, you know why it happened? Why they merged? Do you know why, Jaden?
No.
It was the failure of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, the movie. It was such a commercial bomb that they put so much money into that to try to save things financially, they merged with Enix to balance out funds or whatever, some corporate mumbo jumbo. But it was because of the failure of that movie that they merged together.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. Well, they've made a lot of bangers since, and before then, too.
Yep,
So
they both did.
they're still one of probably the strongest third parties out there.
I mean, I would agree with that.
Anyways, let's move on to page 50, which is opens up a Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 4 Swords article. I just gotta say, something I really truly appreciate about magazines back then is that they gave you like actual like maps to scale from the games, and you have literally the entire Dark World map on this page 51. Like, it is so
super
cool, and also surprisingly makes A Link to the Past look extremely small. Like, in like looking at it this way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess I never realized
It's not as small as that looks, but it isn't as big as
it felt a lot bigger. Yeah, it felt a lot bigger than this looks.
Yeah.
But I think it's so cool, and you know, Link to the Past is up there for me.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. All right, so page 74 is an article that talks about Skies of Arcadia Legends. Does anybody here have that game?
I think somebody may.
I got it. I don't deserve it, but I found it.
Anyways, that is also what the poster is, and it's a sick
Dude, that
poster.
is nice.
Look at this poster.
God, that's one of the hard things. If I found some of these magazines, it would be hard not to frame some of these posters.
Oh, this poster
Then
is
you
so
ruin
good.
The magazine.
I love that it's a horizontal poster. Usually
Yeah.
they're all like top to bottom vertical.
Yeah, that is a nice poster.
I don't know who's that little little floaty ghosty
I
guy.
love
right there?
him.
I haven't played
I don't know who he is, but I already love him.
I'm having like a Jimmy River City Girls moment here. I haven't even played this game, but I love that
You-
poster. What I'm looking at.
Listen,
Oh.
you can love something without knowing it.
Before you play it.
Anyways, that's a sick poster, man. Well, we got just a couple highlights left, friends. Don't worry, we won't be here. We won't stay here too long. I had to do this. So classified information, they had like a section we talked about before where Nintendo Power covered cheats and codes and just like things, shortcuts, right? So NBA Live 2003 on the GameCube. If you look really closely, since there's a little bit of a sports theme to this episode, you can see the Seattle Supersonics starting 5.
Oh,
Rashard Lewis. Something Livingston.
Why are we whispering it?
Because I can barely read it. Desmond Mason. You know what they used to
The
call
text is small.
You know what they used to call Desmond Mason?
You're looking at me. But
They used to
no,
call
I
him the Space Cowboy. Want to
Oh,
know why?
man.
Because he got up
Some people
real
call
high.
him the Space Cowboy.
He went up into space and he just we threw down, man.
Aw,
Like
Desmond.
he was like a new age. I don't know. He was like
It's the end of the life, brother.
yeah, Desmond. I'm watching season 2 right now. Anyways, I thought it was really cool. Whenever I can do a little Sonic's love in video games, I'm gonna throw it out there. And then finally, maybe not finally, 98. Yeah, this will be good. We can finish here, just about. I forgot that when Animal Crossing came out, and for those who aren't aware, this was the first Animal Crossing game had just come out on the GameCube. It was revolutionary.
First
It
in
was
America.
groundbreaking. It was wonderful for those that were playing it at the time. They had this little section, little one-page section. I don't know how many issues they did it for, but it was called the Crossing Guardian, and it was like a newspaper aesthetic. And they would talk about things that were going on in that season if you were playing and not, time stealing and time traveling, which is, that problem has never really gone away ever. They even had a little
time traveling.
Yes. Time traveling is not a victimless crime. So in this little section at the bottom left, Tom Nook's special delivery number 1. They gave you a code that you entered in the game itself, and you received an in-game item.
That's cool.
And I don't know what the item is. I tried to look it up real quick on Google. But
You're just gonna have to play the game and
honestly,
find out.
You're just gonna have to play the game. Honestly, I'd love to go back to this game and play it. But
Fun. We'll post it on the Instagram
Yep.
for anybody who wants it.
yes, and the headline at the top was "Abominable Snowmen Give Cold Shoulder." Because it was a winter-themed
winter,
issue, and you roll the snowmen together, and you get snowman items.
He's a freezer.
He's a freezy. He's a
Freezy.
freezy.
Yeah.
He's a freezy. I think honestly, a lot of the villagers and the town residents are kind of freezies.
Oh yeah,
they
his
were
first
they
game?
were mean in this game,
That's what
man.
Jesse tells me.
They were savage.
Yeah.
I loved them.
Yeah. All right.
And when you'd hit them with the bug net and stuff, though, they would get ticked. They didn't play. They'd stomp around and they'd yell at you. It was great.
I honestly wish that. Yeah, I do wish. Like, obviously, the most recent Animal Crossing game is legendary and it was incredible. But I do wish there was a little bit more down to earth grit and realism and just
Where are the drugs?
yeah.
Where's the seedy underbelly?
Seedy underbelly. what would classify as a seedy underbelly in Animal Crossing? I don't even know. They kind of already had that in the. Well, forget it. Anyways, 2 pages over it was Metroid Prime comic made by Dark Horse Comics, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, they still were featuring comics these days. So that's pretty much it. But I wanted to show you 2 inserts that I haven't shared with you yet. At the end, they included a Animal Crossing 2003 calendar,
is dope.
an entire calendar, which was more thick than the poster itself, and even better, this is the whole reason to buy this issue, if you ask me, and I'm sure the reason Hannah gifted it to me. Inside, they included Smashing Live orchestra music. So this is a Super Smash Brothers Melee CD soundtrack with 15 tracks on it. The CD is still inside.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Well, and the funny thing is, I very clearly remember when we were kids, you obviously had this issue because you had that CD.
I remember
I remember we
having
went
it.
on a road trip or something with your parents once, and your dad let us put that CD in, and you made us all guess what song each game was from. But I know you had that CD.
Yeah.
So
I
you've had
remember.
to get the magazine again.
So
but-
so the question is, do I leave it in
yeah, you leave it in.
or do I take it out?
You can listen to those songs elsewhere.
It's really cool though.
At this
Yeah.
point, I'd leave
Oh,
it
yeah.
in. Try to find it on eBay separate if you really want to listen to it.
What I love too is that it's almost like it has a CD cover on it, because on the back you have pictures of the actual orchestra that were recording this music and all some of the credits for the composer and stuff. But the tracks include Planet Corneria, Jungle Garden, Great Bay Shrine, Dr. Mario, original medley from Fountain of Dreams, one of my favorites levels, Pokemon medley, opening, Planet Venom, Yoshi Story, Depth of Brinstar, Smash Bros. Great medley, Fire Emblem, Green Greens, Rainbow Cruise. So yeah,
That's awesome.
I think this was a great gift, and what a packed Nintendo Power issue.
It was. It's a thick one.
It really was. Oh, and I didn't
boy.
even say the cover game was Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, and for those
Great game.
for back then, this is when the movies were coming out, and it was a cultural event for good reason. They were incredible, and these games were actually really fun. They were
I heard
hack
they're
and
good.
slashy games. I loved them.
Yeah, we used to play them a lot.
Yeah, they were good times.
When EA made good games.
So I think this was a great issue to have on an episode where we got a soundbite.
Very much so. And that concludes.
So good, man. I'm so glad you did that.
Had this idea for a while.
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah. So that's going to end the one-ups and pickups. And if you thought that was good, we're going into our next segment. And that's the very popular segment of
I've got my eye. I've got my eye. I've got my eye on you.
Oh, my god.
It's so good.
Wow. I'm not speechless,
I
but
got a little carried away with that one.
Oh, man.
you went hard on that one, man.
He sent it to me, and I was like, bro, this is brilliant. I I listened to it like 30 times in a row, and I made Jasmine listen to it. And I was like,
Oh my god!
I'm like, this is so good.
That's what my brain sounds like, just like looping. I've got my, just like over and over. I had to get it out of my head.
Oh my gosh, Jade, you are brilliant. That was so good.
Oh man, I love
This is already officially the best episode ever of X Button Gaming. I'm almost certain. This was really good.
Well, thank you.
Oh man. So all right, let's talk about what we've had our eye on. What we have our eye on. So James, why don't you start this one?
Okay, well, we've talked about it already. I am trying to collect assorted sports titles with Seattle Stars on the cover or featured prominently. And I recently discovered 3 that I wasn't aware of. I mean, one a little while back, right? There is a game called NBA Jam Extreme, which is on the PS1 and the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn one being a lot more expensive, like in the 70-80 range, and the PS1 one's pretty. You can get it for like 20, maybe $15. But Sean Kemp, who also is X Button famous, Sean Kemp is prominently featured. The game came out around '96, so it was he's wearing the uni when they went to the finals and got beaten by Michael Jordan.
Sean Kemp, known for 3 things: basketball, weed, X Button gaming.
Oh, that guy? I know who you're talking about.
We got to get him on the show, man. We really do.
I bet he listens.
I'm sure Jade would make a sick soundbite for Sean Kemp. Man.
Oh man, heck yeah.
Sean. Super Seanic.
That was one that Nara Rocketeller Suit brought up, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. There's 2 more. So I found this out when I was doing trivia like last week. Triple Play 99 on the PS1 also. I think it's only a PS1 game. A much maligned star of the past for the Seattle Mariners, Alex Rodriguez, is the cover athlete on this baseball game. I had no idea that and he was wearing the Mariners logo. He's got the hat on. Like, for those who aren't aware,
That would have been just before. Didn't he leave in 2000?
he left really shortly after that. He got paid like some massive deal by the Texas Rangers, like $200 million. So everyone called him a sellout. Everybody hated him. Many still do
Because
hate him.
none of them
I
would
don't-
have taken that money.
I would have taken that money.
How dare you?
My pride is worth way more than $200 million.
My regional pride is way higher than my love for money. But yeah, so I have to get that. You know, I have mixed feelings about Alex Rodriguez. I don't hate him, but I don't love him the way I love some other players. But I gotta get it for collection purposes. Finally, this one I want your opinion on, guys. MLB Power Pros. Are you familiar with that title or the?
It's like the Japanese RPG / baseball game.
It's a game. Yeah, I don't know if it was on any other consoles than the Wii, but it is on the Wii. I want to show you a picture of it because
It's big in Japan. It was on mini consoles, but I think we only got it on the Wii.
So if you take a look at this, look closely on the left, bottom left. This isn't a picture of Ichiro, but that is definitely Ichiro that is featured on the cover, right? Like it's like a animated, like. I don't know, like me styled version. That is definitely Ichiro. He's in the pose. He's left-handed batter. He's holding his bat up to the air, just like Ichiro did when he did that little stretch that he was iconic for.
Yeah,
This
it could be.
is Ichiro. I mean, it's not Ichiro, but the intended idea is Ichiro.
You're gonna have to get the game and then find out.
No, I mean that's Ichiro.
Sure.
It's Ichiro.
That doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough about Ichiro to dispute that.
He has a Mariners hat on, so
Chris, you remember Ichiro how he looked when he did the stretch at the plate when he was like,
yeah, he did do that.
Chris is laughing because the picture is like so cartoony and so simple that it's just so hard to
all right,
see a resemblance.
All right, so I mean, obviously,
I believe you.
I'm convinced this is supposed to be Ichiro.
Honest to God, you have to get the game now and find out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's only like a $5 game. So,
All right. Well, either way, whether
and I've heard it's really fun.
okay, I'll get it. I'll add it to the list, but tentatively add it to my collection. My question for you is, even if that is Ichiro, right? Let's just say that is humor me. That's Ichiro.
Okay,
Should this count for my cover athlete collection?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
100%. If it was me, it would count. So
Okay.
that's
I want
all
you to get it to find out that's not Ichiro. Just to be stuck with this game.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's Ichiro. I swear.
It is a Mariners helmet though. Like you can tell it's supposed to
It's
be.
a Mariners helmet.
That's
I mean,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
kind of blurry.
It
It's kind of
is a
blurry.
Mariners
It's a
helmet.
blurry screenshot.
So that because of that alone, I feel like you have to get it. Like
I guess you're
whether
right.
it's Ichiro or not, I do
But
feel like it counts.
I'm sure it's Ichiro though.
I mean, okay.
If it was expensive, I wouldn't push you towards it. Yeah. I mean, it's only $5.
Okay,
Go
you're
for it.
right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
And now in the next collector's edition episode, you will have the game, and you can either put us in our place,
Yes.
or somehow
Yes.
mysteriously not even mention the game, even though I know we got it.
All right, so those are the 3 games. Yeah. Anyways, I got my eyes on those.
Okay.
Cool.
Was that everything you have your eye on?
I have.
Or do you have more?
think
Because
I
that
have-
just decides how if I split it up or if I do it
Oh,
all
I
at
think
once.
I have 2 more,
Okay.
but they're really quick ones. They're,
not
they're,
a
they're
2
quick
more.
hitters. They're quick hitters.
Mine are quick too. So, all right. So the first one, everybody knows. Well, maybe not everybody knows, but most people know. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out on February 29th. I was super excited for it. Obviously, I pre-ordered it. I guess I should have added that to this, but I pre-ordered the special edition. Came with the soundtrack and the art book, and a steelbook case. And yeah, love it. I'm not going to go into the game, but fantastic. And for whatever reason, I made a decision when it was time to pre-order the game. I could pre-order it at Best Buy and get a bonus steelbook, a beautiful steelbook, or I could pre-order it at GameStop and get a hat. For some reason, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get that hat. I love steelbooks. I like hats, but I would never
You're
wear
a
that
steelbook
hat.
God
guy.
against
Why
your
did you
very
get that?
nature right now. You
I made a mistake, and by the time I realized, but before the game ever came out, I was like, why did I do this? I went to Best Buy to pre-order it, and they didn't have the steelbook as a bonus item anymore. So anyway, I went to Best Buy before GameStop even opened. I went to Best Buy that morning to see if I could possibly snag an extra one, because they will sell them if they get extras. They didn't get extras. They didn't even have enough for the pre-orders that they had.
wow.
So
So you wouldn't have gotten it anyway.
yeah,
Maybe.
well, no, I mean, I might not have, but who knows? It's my fault. So then I was like, okay, I'll just try to get one on eBay. Like, I'm sure it'll be more than the $10 that they would sell it for. But immediately after the game came out and they're on eBay, $70, $80, $90.
Wow.
So yeah,
Gross.
I'm mad. I'm mad at myself. I can only blame myself. But I want this steelbook for a couple of reasons. One, I love steelbooks. Two, I intend to do a little bit more of a Final Fantasy themed shelf. And there were 2 steelbooks for Final Fantasy VII Remake. There was one for Crisis Core, and now there were 2 for Rebirth. And I have all of them except for this one. And I want to have it to finish that steelbook area. Plus, it's absolutely stunningly beautiful for a steelbook. I know a lot of people don't care about steelbooks, but it's beautiful. It really is. And I want it, but I refuse to pay almost $100 for just a steelbook. So I'm watching, and I'm hoping that I can snag somebody who lists it for a more reasonable price. I won't say what my idea of a reasonable price is, because I'm sure it's still more than people would think is reasonable. But I have my idea of what is reasonable, and if it comes up at that point, I will buy it. But yeah, I only have myself to blame, and I'm mad at myself. And the hat's pretty lame. It obviously it's like a trucker hat, and it's obviously like they just, you know how they have those machines where they just stick a something on it. Like they made it just looks like that. A white Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on the hat.
Chris is shaking his head right now. He's
Yeah.
just
I'm
Wearing a
you can-
different hat right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even wearing that hat. I refuse to wear that hat.
This is what happens when you betray your own principles.
Yeah, it was dumb. Like I don't know. It was a moment of like just stupid. I don't even know why I did it. Like I said, it was probably 2 weeks later. I was like, "What? I'm gonna pre-order it at Best Buy and get the steelbook," and it was already too late.
We all make those mistakes
Yeah.
every now and then.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know why I did it, but anyway. So I have my eye on that. Hopefully one day I'll have it for one of these episodes.
Right on, right on.
You have your eyes under it.
Yeah. Jaden, on to you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, James, I didn't say anything. This caught my eye. I was going down this rabbit hole of Tony Hawk games. Surprise. And apparently I found out in Korea to possibly boost, to give this game the best chance over there for a skateboarding game. For the second game, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, in Korea, they had, I should have written it down. It's like special guest. They added characters to the game, which were like these like Korean pop singers. I believe Finkel or something. I think it's Finkel. It'd be funny if it's not, but I think it's something weird like Finkel is the band, the group. Early 2000s. It did not help with the sales, but it exists, and like you can actually still buy this brand new to this day online for $4. What is that sound?
It's something outside.
Oh, okay.
I think my neighbor's pumping up his tire.
Anyway, I thought that was like just a really cool. Well, one because it's brand new and you can still get it. It's a cool, just like merger of worlds of my realm, video games, and Tony Hawk specifically, and then my wife's like she's all into like Korean like K-pop stuff, and she knows the band. It's not her favorite band, but she knows of them. It's like, oh yeah, I like a few of their songs. I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I just have an issue with I can't figure out how to get it shipped to me. I can like go on the website and everything, add it to my cart, but then like payment wise, it's like all the options are not. I can't pay for it, and also shipping is like what, like $20 on top of that. So it's not exactly $4 brand new, but I mean, technically it is brand new. I could buy it for that. I'll pay that much to get it shipped. I just need to figure out how to pay for it.
Yeah.
Give them my money.
I'm a big fan of that kind of an item where it mixes two of your things that you love together.
That sounds cool.
Have you checked like Play Asia or eStarland? I think it's another site because they both deal in import stuff too.
I'll have to check them out.
I don't know if they would have it, but it might be worth checking either of those sites. I think it's eStarland. I don't know. They might not even exist anymore actually, but yeah, look there. But that's super cool. It's super cheap too. Even $24 seems cheap.
Yeah, for shipping or that far away. And I forgot if I said this. It's a PC big box.
Ooh, fun.
So, I mean, it'll just look cool.
Yeah.
And then it has, the K-pop group on the front cover. Please play this game. And they have some of their songs also on the soundtrack. It sticks out like a sore thumb. That's awesome. I was told, but I can't not get it.
Yeah.
It sounds...
No, that feels like a must. And
That's really cool.
PC big box games are super cool. They take up a lot of room, but they're fun to have. I only have like 5, but I like them.
Oh, yeah.
Is it back to James? It's back to James.
Yeah, I got a couple semi-quick hitters here. You might call these I've got my new updates. updates. So we talked about a game called The Messenger on our Switch episode. And I don't know what drew my attention to this game to look up prices again, but like if you look on price charting, the prices don't seem to be any different, right? Like I think we said at the time that the cheaper variant of the game, which was limited run by special, what's the company that made the really expensive version? It has like an LE attached to it. It's $8,500. I can't remember the Special Reserve. Special Reserve. Okay. That's who it was. $165 at the time. I think we said in the episode, and $225 for the Special Reserve one. For some reason, I don't know, purchases aren't being tracked on price charting or something, but like I was looking up like recently sold on eBay. Even the cheapest variants of the Messenger are going for at least $200 to like $400 depending on the version now. Like I don't know what I mean, I suspect it's because the company, which is so the Messenger is developed by Sabotage Studio. They're the creators of Sea of Stars, which blew up and was very loved by a lot of people. I want to play that game actually really bad at some point. But I get the feeling that Sea of Stars buzz kind of drew a lot of people to the Messenger.
Apparently, the universes are intertwined.
That's true. I forgot about that. You're right. They're supposed to take place in the same universe or be somehow related. But I think that Messenger prices are going up a lot, and I'm not exactly sure of what the reason is. And so if it was a game that you had your eye on, well, I definitely have my eye on it more now because I already wanted to play the Messenger, and I don't want to get it digital. I want to get it physical. Yeah, but there's 3 variants. There is 3 variants, but you're all regardless of which one you pick, you're going to be paying like $150 on the cheap side, and probably over $200, and $300 if it's the one that's like limited edition with 8,500 copies or whatever.
Yeah, that's rough.
So I don't know what it is, but I suspect it's Sea of Stars, and like this development team has just got a lot of like fans now.
Yeah, that probably caused the price to spike. I mean, and I've just heard that the game's fantastic too. It's been on my list for a long time. I wish I would have bought it when it came out, not digitally. because I didn't buy. It's one of those games I didn't buy digitally because I was like, I'll get it. I'll wait and hope they do a physical version. But like, I almost kind of wonder if I don't even remember hearing that the physical version ever was released, so I probably just missed it.
Yeah.
Which is too bad. But
for those who didn't listen before, it's a game that's like kind of somewhat inspired by Ninja Gaiden. It switches into 2 different modes, an 8-bit mode and a 16-bit mode. It's action-y platformer.
Yeah, basically.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah. And then the other one, Super Mario 3D All Stars. So we all know that this compilation of Mario games, which was what? Mario Sunshine,
64,
Mario
and
64,
Galaxy.
Mario Galaxy, just the first one, right? So now, just to get a copy of this game loose, you're paying like $80, if not more, to get a copy of it complete in box. You're paying at least probably $100, if not like significantly more, depending on the condition of it. Like,
Depending on if you're an idiot paying that much.
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, we all know what happened with this game, right? It was released on September 18th, 2020. It was only available until March the next year. So it was like, that's actually a pretty good window, but 9-month window. For some reason, they made it a limited release game. Not a limited edition, but a limited release window. And they even took it off the eShop for some stupid reason. Like, it wasn't just discontinued physically, it was discontinued digitally. So they created a game that was artificially scarce, which is normal for Nintendo, and the prices have gone up. And I'm just saying,
You have it, right?
I have it, but if you don't have it, you may want to have your eye on it.
This is you should have your eye on this.
Yeah.
Not-
Yeah.
James doesn't. Okay, I was gonna say.
So the weird thing about it, it's not even weird. This game isn't scarce. Like, it sold over 1 million copies. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 million even. Like, it sold a lot. It's not like and yes, they only had it. They were only manufacturing it from September to March, but it was on store shelves for almost a year after that. You could still walk into stores and get it because they had manufactured so many that they kept shipping it out for a while afterwards.
Yeah.
It there's no reason why it should be going for this much.
It's frustrating as somebody who has the game.
I should have bought two.
It's just people's FOMO, like, and I see people on the Game Collector Reddit posting still like, "Oh, I found this at GameStop," and they pay like $80 for it at GameStop, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad I found it." I'm like, How did you people miss this? Like, I can understand in 10 years when some teenagers are growing up and they want to start collecting for the Switch or whatever else. Somebody sold it and they want to get it again, but I'm just surprised so many people that apparently want it missed it.
Yeah.
I guess that was like what 2020, so like 4 years ago. I don't know. It's been some time. Like, people could not have had a Switch yet.
I guess it's
and
been
then-
longer than it feels like.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
recent. It's just so weird how like when that was happening initially, people were all panicking and all buying it. And people were like, "No, don't buy it because they're gonna sell." And then it just held at that value for the longest time. But now all of a sudden it's climbing because I think people are panicking again.
Yeah.
It's weird.
The FOMO is real, man.
And frankly, I think you give it enough time, I think it'll be even more valuable. So it might sadly be a decent window to get it right now. Like, so maybe I've redefined today what I've got my eye on you means, but like I've got my eye on you sometimes like for other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's one that if you actually want it, you can at least find it at GameStop for cheaper than eBay pricing.
I've seen it for
but-
like 65.
Yeah, maybe that's more accurate to what it goes for. So,
Yeah.
which that's only $5 more than what it was retail.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm back to the Messenger. I'm hoping that gets a reprint of some sort because it really shouldn't be that hard to get that game. I mean, you can get it digitally. Yes, you can for like
Yeah.
probably $5 or $10 or something, but
side note on that idea of I don't have my eye on it, but other people might want to. Castle Crashers revisited or whatever they call it for the Switch. It got a limited printing through the Behemoth website. And then the price spiked like crazy because they never said they were only going to do one printing, but it was like one and they sold out. It was $30, I think. And then the price spiked. It was going for like $200.
Oh, wow.
But they did a reprint last month and that brought the price back down to a realistic. I mean, I think people are still paying like $60 for it on eBay because it sold out. But they're doing another reprint. So if anybody has any interest in that game for the Switch, Castle Crashers Remastered, I think is what it is. But I don't know if it's remastered because it's just basically the same game. But anyway,
That's cool.
I'd buy it because I do think they're only going to probably do so many reprints of it. And it does come with like a manual and some stickers and stuff too. And it's a great game. I got mine at PAX. I got it in the donut box with a bunch of extra stuff. But so just in case anybody actually wants it, I'd look for that online while it's still available.
Nice.
All right, something else that I have my eye on. So this episode will be a collector's edition episode about Xbox 360. And in doing some research on this, one thing that I stumbled across that I forgot existed that I do want to get is the Tales of Vesperia for Xbox 360. They had a Steelbook edition.
Oh.
And I like the Tales series, and somehow I've never managed to play Vesperia, which is highly regarded as one of, if not the best in the series. And I've played most other Tales games. I think there's only, including this one, only 3 or 4 I haven't played. It's been re-released now on Switch and all these other consoles too. But I want to get this version just because the Steelbook looks really nice, and it comes with a soundtrack too, and it's not that expensive. It's only like $30-$40 right now. So it's something I have my eye on that's realistic to find, but there wasn't a lot of them on eBay when I looked. So I don't know, I might end up grabbing it sooner than later, but like I said, I forgot it even existed, and it just looks really nice. And I want to play the game, so why not play it on Xbox?
Yeah.
Since it's supposed to be still possibly the best version of the game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Jaden?
Same thing. Looking up 360 games, I remembered that there is a version for 360 of Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, which I would consider, and I think a lot of Tony Hawk fans would probably say is like the last decent one made by Activision, the original, Neversoft and such. The 360 version is widescreen. It's seems to be the best version of that game. So, and I've been kind of itching to replay that. So I'm keeping my eye out for that guy. He's actually fetching for like around $40, which is kind of up there for a 360.
Yeah, that is higher than I would have thought.
It's not, So, I want to make sure I find that guy soon.
Nice.
I've never played that one, but I've always wanted to, because I've always heard it's probably the last one that was good, because then Project 8 and Proving Grounds weren't great. But I still want to play those too. But.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Can't go wrong, but actually there's some Tony Hawk games you can go wrong with. But Wasteland, I remember being pretty good. Not as good as Underground for me, but I liked it better than Underground 2. So
That's pretty good. James, any more?
No, that's all I got.
All right, my last one. I've had my eye on it for a little bit, and it's probably one of those things I won't ever buy until I find the right deal. But I want to get an Xbox One console. Just, I'd probably prefer to have a Series X eventually, but it wouldn't hurt to, I don't know. I'm not in a hurry to get an Xbox One, because I'd probably prefer a Series X, like I said. But I do want to get, if I can ever find one, I want to get a complete in box day one edition Xbox One.
With the Kinect?
With the Kinect and everything.
Nice.
To me, I just think it's really cool. Like, I've always admitted, I'm not the hugest Xbox fan, but I do appreciate it. And I have a lot of respect for the legacy of Microsoft and Xbox. But I think it's really cool that their day one launch consoles, literally just like the pre-order consoles basically, and a handful of other extras, were in a completely different box than the consoles that came later. And it said day one on the box, it said day one on the console, it said day one on the controller. I may have even said day one on the Kinect.
That's so cool.
I don't remember, but...
So I obviously didn't have one of those, because I had an Xbox One. I don't remember that.
No. The box is all black instead of like the green box that it normally was after that.
Yeah, I remember the green box.
It's very sleek. It's very cool. Like, I just think it's a cool piece, especially for an Xbox fan to have.
Yeah.
But just as a collector, I feel like, to me, those are the kinds of things that when companies do it, like, it shows a respect for their fan base.
Yeah.
And I like that. But yeah, I think it would be a really cool piece to have. So,
and I had no idea that existed. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I have my eye on that. I mean, it's one of those things that it's because it's an original Xbox One model. So those models don't go for a lot. So by nature, it isn't crazy expensive. But it probably is about $150-$200. But then, because if I'm going to get it, I want it CIB, and then it gets more expensive. It's hard to find it under $300.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that I just kind of hope. I don't look at OfferUp for much, but it's one of those things I hope I'll find on OfferUp one day.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more likely, especially in the area, Seattle area, a lot of Microsoft fans around here. So hopefully one day I can snag one at a reasonable price.
And you can play around with the Kinect. Like, it creeped a lot of people out back in the day, I remember. And there was a lot of drama surrounding the Kinect. But it was actually really cool and really convenient if you used it. Like, I wasn't concerned about it watching me in my underwear or whatever people were worried about. But like it was really cool to like turn on my TV, raise my volume, lower my volume, start a movie, like just with voice commands. Like back then, that wasn't that long ago, but like
10 years ago now.
I feel like they had a very ambitious idea of how people were going to use their video game console, which nobody embraced, but but I kind of liked it.
No, it was cool. It is. They did. I mean, they had high hopes for the Kinect still going into the Xbox One.
Yeah.
But they didn't take long to drop it. in
Yeah,
the
no,
Xbox
they
One era.
they axed
They
it
had
fast.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Survival. It's funny, people dog on the original Xbox One design, but the best thing they can say is like, "Oh, that VCR box." It's like, how's that an insult? It looks better than a PS5. I'll say.
I digress.
I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. Wrong
They're equally
paperweight
as heavy.
console.
You're right though.
Let's move on before I punch James.
We're just freezies.
Yeah. This is why people don't like Seattle. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the main topic at 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so collector's edition episode. This is going to be one of the ones where we talk about a specific console, and that console today is Xbox 360.
Yes.
So the reason being was a few reasons. One, I feel like it's a good time to be an Xbox 360 collector. The prices are still pretty low for the most part. They are at the point where they're closing down the Xbox 360, the online store, whatever they call it, the eShop, or it's not the eShop, but whatever they call what do they call the
Microsoft store.
The Microsoft.
Microsoft.
They're closing that down, and when that comes, obviously some games will probably start going up in price or whatever else. But yeah, all in all, it just feels like a good time to get into Xbox collecting if you have any desire to. So what we're going to do is, per the norm, we're going to talk about the 10 most expensive 360 games according to price charting. So per the norm, price charting is not the Bible, but I did fact check
You said that right.
all of these games on eBay to see
Yeah.
if they actually were going for this much, and if they actually, I wanted to see how rare all of these games were. So I don't know if you guys did that for any of them, but I do have at least a note on each one for about how many copies were on eBay.
Oh, nice. That's good. Those are actually some good details right there.
So yeah, I tried to go a little bit deeper. And then after we go through the top 10, we each have a couple of games we feel like are worth picking up for one reason or another now.
Consider. Yeah.
So something to consider if you're interested. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're going to go through the top 10 most valuable 360 games. And I'm going to start off with number 10, which comes in at $86.53 on average for a complete in-box copy. And he had a copy.
Yeah.
Looking thug with it there, Wes.
Yep.
And that game is 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. So this is a sequel to 50 Cent Bulletproof, which was a PS2 and Xbox game. This is the only game on the list, which I thought this was interesting. I looked it up for each of these games. This is the only game on the list that is backwards compatible on Xbox One. So that's an extra reason for somebody to possibly want it, because they can actually play it on their Xbox One.
That's pretty cool.
But yes, so 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, you heard it correctly. This is a game starring the G-Unit member. He loves to party in the club and take a visit to the candy shop.
Oh, man. Little mama, show me how you move it.
Go ahead, put your back into it.
Oh, man, that song was really good, actually.
Yeah.
Shake that.
You don't know what you heard about him, but he's a PIMP. So 50 Cent, he had 2 games. Both of them supposedly very good. I haven't played either of them, but they actually are supposed to be pretty good games. This game I thought it was pretty cool. Apparently, there's a bunch of songs on it by both 50 Cent, G-Unit, and other rappers. Apparently, 50 Cent made a bunch of songs for this game.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
And I wrote down, I got the synopsis of this story from the its Wikipedia page, just to give people an idea of this game. So the game is set in an urban war zone in the unnamed Middle East country, where 50 Cent and G-Unit have been hired to play a rap concert. After the concert, the promoter, Anwar, is unable to pay them the $10 million in cash he promised, but he relents after being threatened. However, instead of the cash they were promised, he gives them a diamond and pearl encrusted human skull as collateral. This is then stolen by a paramilitary group led by the terrorist Saeed Kamal and his right-hand woman, Leela.
Leela.
50 Cent, with the help of a selected G-Unit partner, decides to get it back at any cost. And soon they find out that there is a much bigger enemy than Kamal.
This game sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah. This one
Yeah.
makes sense to be expensive.
Overall, the game sounds ridiculous, but it sounds like it's probably a real good time.
Yeah.
I gotta get.
Yeah. I just thought it was So when we were talking about which games we were going to talk about, I was like, I need to take Blood in the Sand, please. Like, I have to talk about it. So yeah, after reading this, I was like, this game sounds pretty great. Like,
I'm really hoping this is a game that's like backwards compatible with Series X now or something, because I would love to try that. Did you say that it's not?
You said on one, but I'm
Okay.
assuming that's also series.
I meant,
also?
yeah, it's backwards
Okay.
compatible
Oh,
forward.
okay. Oh,
So,
It is.
yeah.
Oh yes!
Yeah.
Let's
So enhanced,
go!
yeah.
Let's go!
That's my bad. I thought I did say Xbox One, but
Okay.
yeah, it's backward. The way that, from what I read the list, the way it makes it sound is it's backwards compatible on One and Series X.
Oh man, I've got my eye on you, 50 Cent.
I didn't look very hard, but I couldn't find if the game was local co-op. It did have an online mode, but I think it sounds like it should have a local co-op mode too, just by the way the game plays, which would be cool.
Would have been that era, right? The
Yeah,
last
very,
of.
very much so, and that's when games like Kane and Lynch and Army of Two were really popular as well, and that they were built off of that local co-op thought. So
How much does that cost?
So it goes for, on average, $86.53, and that's for a complete in-box copy. And at the time of this recording, I checked all of these today. There's about 15 copies on eBay. Not all of those were complete in box. Some were loose. You can there are copies from other regions on there, but I'm only talking about the ESRB copies whenever I give these numbers. 15 is on the lower side for games on this list. There were some that had quite a few more. But yeah, I definitely feel like this is the kind of game that deserves to be on a list for being sought after, because it sounds like it had decent reviews. It wasn't poorly reviewed or received at all. It's actually somewhat rare. It sounds like it didn't sell, I think even I think it was less than 100,000 copies across both platforms.
Oh wow.
I didn't write that number down, so but it was a low number. Yeah, and then it just sounds like kind of a ridiculous but yet fun time. And because it's backwards compatible, it should raise its value even more over
you'd think
time.
so. You'd think so.
So anyway, yeah, that's number 10.
Well, that's the reason for you to get an Xbox One right there, Chris.
I mean, I have a 360 I can play on.
Does it
Won't be enhanced?
No Red Rings of Death yet, obviously.
I have the R2 one.
Oh, thank goodness.
But yeah, I do want to get an Xbox. I want to get a Series X eventually. I kind of hope they'll do another limited edition one that's
50
worth
cent limited
buying.
edition.
Dude, can you imagine? 50 cent blood in space.
How much blood would you shed for that?
All of it.
All of it.
All of the blood.
All the blood is shed.
I would literally sell my soul for a 50 cent Xbox Series X.
50 in the house, bounce.
Dude,
All right.
50 cent's hilarious. I don't need to get into that, actually. All right, let's go
Well,
on.
so that's number 10, but really number 1 in our hearts.
Yeah, it should be number 1.
It's already there for
All
me.
right, let's go on to number 9, Jaden.
Number 9, we got Operation Darkness.
Whoa.
Sitting at $86. It's a tactical RPG published by Atlas, exclusive to the 360.
Really?
Yeah, so World War II, you're the British fighting the Nazis with some fantasy elements, zombies, werewolves, and such. This did not get a European release. This game is bad. It reviewed bad. Generally unfavorable on Metacritic.
Generally
You know,
unfavorable.
the Bible of ratings.
The Bible of ratings.
Yeah, so this was only $20 for the longest time until the Great Upheaval. Yeah, what do you think it is? Probably just Atlas, and people just realize like, oh, I should get.
Atlas
Probably.
makes it a big deal. Also, I've seen multiple YouTubers put this on a list of hidden gems, of Xbox 360 hidden gems. Of course, YouTubers sometimes make it sound like they've played something they may not have, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and it probably just didn't. It probably is like down to like scarcity. You can imagine like a tactical Japanese RPG on the 360. You know, that just probably wasn't the right audience. It
Yeah,
probably didn't
that's-
sell a ton.
yeah.
So it's probably mostly that, on top of you got those Atlas fans. Just I don't know if there's Atlas collectors.
There are,
Right?
yeah.
It's
Okay.
gotta be.
Did you mention too that it's an alternate World War II timeline?
With the World War II with fantasy elements.
Okay, you did.
I think you figured people would assume that.
So I couldn't remember if you mentioned the World War II.
Do you know more?
I just
that's
think
all
it's
I really
funny.
got.
Adolf Hitler is one of the main bad guys. Like,
I mean, I think if they're fighting Nazis, that makes sense.
no, he
Checks out.
definitely is. It's funny when they make these games, because I mean it's not very often, but a game where you get to kill Hitler just seems kind of over the top, but
Like-
funny.
Yeah, with zombies and werewolves, that's perfectly in this era, right? This is like Twilight time. Makes sense.
Gotta add a
But
vampire.
Hitler's like a vampire or something. I don't know. So that is Operation Darkness, number 9.
And I looked it up. I checked eBay, and there was only 5 copies on eBay, and not all of them were even complete. So yeah, I think this, out of all the games on the list, had the least. That's not true. There was one game that had less, but yeah, definitely one of the lower games on the list. Definitely.
Lesser availability.
Like I said, only 5 copies. I think there were some Japanese copies on there, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty low.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, let's go on to number 8, Jimmy.
Number 8 is NCAA Football 14. Why is this here? Because this was the last NCAA football game released. It was multi-plat, but for those who aren't aware, there was a lawsuit that happened. Why? The answer is because college football yearly, at least nowadays, makes like their revenue just from college football, no other sports, $1.3 billion.
Oh, geez.
How much money do you think of that pool of money was going to the players that were being represented?
Probably none.
0. So there was a lawsuit of like former athletes and players that felt like you were using our likeness. You weren't using our names, but you were using our likeness, what we look like, and how we play, our play style. And so they settled out of court. I don't know what players got that amount of money, but anyways, that lawsuit ended up being the end of this franchise, which was really popular. You know, not as popular as Madden. Madden probably sold. I would bet, I can't. This don't quote me here. I would bet that it outsold NCAA football like 2-1 or something like that. But it was still very popular, and there was, it used to be every year you were like, am I going to get NCAA football? Or am I going to get Madden? And most people probably went Madden, but there's a lot of college football fans more than the NFL sometimes. So
I remember Jordan used to prefer the NCAA.
yeah, it was a different kind of a football sim, but it was really fun. And this one, NCAA 14, was the last of that series. However, there is a new one coming this year now. So that's something to consider.
I didn't know that. I'm glad you knew that.
They reached a deal for so it's called NIL, right? So nowadays in college, players can be paid for their name, image, and likeness. And so, do you want to know how much money each college player is getting paid that just gave allowance for their name, image, and likeness to be used in the game? $600 a person.
Oh, wow. I mean, I guess that's something, but that's
So,
pretty small.
like it's pretty drop in the bucket tier, but like, yeah, like I think a lot of players are like, I just want to be in a video game, right? Like I would pay nothing just to be in a video game, like, even though just because I know it's me,
Yeah.
But yeah, so they are paying all the players, which I think is like 10,000 or more college athletes now, but so yeah, I don't know. I feel like we'll see how much money it makes, and will they get paid more? I don't know, but anyways, I would bet. This goes for what, $87.14 right now, complete in box, and I would bet this price is going to go down because it's not going to be the last NCAA football game for long.
So, and I have a comment on that too, because I would agree. I would think that it would go down as well. Also, this game is not rare, like at all.
No.
So when I looked on eBay, there is pages of this game on eBay.
Yep.
Pages and pages. It's not like almost every other game on this list is at least uncommon.
Yeah.
This game isn't even, I wouldn't even say it's uncommon. It's probably uncommon to find it in the wild, maybe.
Yeah.
But I still like this. When I was thinking about this list for 360, this is the first game that came to. There's 2 games that came to mind, and this was one of them because this is one of the games I most commonly see people bring up when they're like, "Look what I found! The Xbox 360 Grail." And I just don't think, it's not rare. It's just expensive.
Yeah.
And it's exactly like you said. It's because it was the last NCAA game.
They had like historical value, like relevance, because of that, and the way that like the last Nintendo Power issue has historical
Yeah.
value and relevance.
Exactly. So hopefully for people that care, this new game does bring the price down.
Yeah.
I will put it out there too. There was oh my gosh, there's a variant of this, a Walmart variant of this game that is higher on this list at $140. So it does go for quite a bit more.
Oh wow.
But I didn't want to put this game on the list twice, and this is the version you're more likely to find.
Yeah.
So I just for the sake of making the list more efficient, I just decided to add a footnote to this. But
That's fair.
yeah, so there is a Walmart variant that is more expensive, and maybe that one stays more expensive because it's a variant of the version. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's number 8.
It'll be interesting to know a year from now if that still is in the top 10.
I would like to revisit the numbers here just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
So one of the big things that I like to see with these re-releases is for them to at least bring the price of the older version down somewhat, and it does sometimes. Not Danganronpa, Dokapon Kingdom was a good example
yeah.
of that. The re-release on Switch brought the PS2 and Wii versions down quite a bit. And Batten Kaitos got that remaster too, and that brought the GameCube games down quite a bit. But then, like, I always wonder how long that'll stay because from what I've heard, these re-releases of the Batten Kaitos have issues. I don't know what they are. They're not as good though.
I've heard the same thing.
Like the GameCube versions are still the way to play it. So like I want to get Origins before it possibly, because it's cheap right now. Well, cheapish, but I want to get it before it pops up in price. But I always like to see how these go down. Like I kind of hope when the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door comes
Yeah.
out, it lowers the price of the GameCube one
For sure.
Because I'd honestly prefer to just have that and play it on GameCube. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right, that was just an off-topic rant, I guess.
It's fair.
It was on topic.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of on topic. All right, number 7, we have Armored Core Verdict Day, which comes in at $90.40 for a complete in-box copy. So this was the last Armored Core to come out on the 360. It was the last Armored Core to come out until the recent release of Armored Core 6. It was a sequel to Armored Core 5. I don't know a lot about it. I believe it's more of an expansion, kind of, a standalone expansion to Armored Core 5. But this game has definitely jumped up for a couple reasons. One being that Armored Core 6 came out recently and did extremely well, was very popular, reviewed very well, and people loved it, which brought the hype up for the old games quite a bit. Also, From Software is probably at the top of their game right now. For those who don't know, they are known for the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring series, and obviously Armored Core. I don't know that they could be any hotter than they are right now. Most of their games that they've put out have all been very well received. And I think these two things have helped create not a scarcity, but a desire for these games, and have helped the price go up. All of the Armored Core games have gone up, but this is definitely the most expensive on 360 at least. So yeah, and as of the time of this writing or this recording, there was only 9 copies on eBay. So definitely not a lot. There were some copies from the other regions, but yeah, only 9 that I could find that were ESRB. So definitely on the more uncommon side. I haven't played it personally, so I don't know how it is, but I know that this series is very, very widely received, enjoyed, and the game was received well, review-wise.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was number 7, Armored Core Verdict Day at $90.40.
Number 6, College Hoops 2K8. This is also on PS3 and hanging around the same price. So this is the last of the College Hoop series by 2K, which apparently is supposed to be a solid series. I know nothing about basketball, but this is apparently regarded as the best one.
Yeah, 2K makes
guess.
really good basketball sims. Like, obviously, NBA 2K is probably the standard, although they've kind of dipped in quality a tiny bit because they've been dominant for so long, which is something Madden also is familiar with. But yeah, I don't know a whole lot about this. This obviously was before the NCAA game we talked about, so I wonder why this one dropped off. Maybe just less interest because it's not the NBA, I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder. So sitting at $92, in case I didn't say it already. A lot of people just advise, like, if you're looking for a good college hoop game, get 2K7 because it's pretty much the same game, just maybe not as great,
Way
but if you
cheaper.
want to play it, yeah, and probably a lot cheaper. So that is number 6.
Nice.
And it looked like I found around, it was a little bit over 20 copies. Mix of complete in box and loose on eBay. So I don't know what that means. To me, if you can go on eBay and there's always going to be 20 copies of a game, that's not rare. That's uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like NCAA football where there's probably always 100 copies on eBay. But
Yeah.
still not super rare.
Have you guys seen that one basketball game with the like really, really bad voice acting?
No.
Because they got like the actual like wait, did I said basketball, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, the basketball players like actually like voicing their own lines, but they are not voice actors, and it makes sense, they're good at basketball. They are not good at, like I think it's 2K15. Look up, or I guess if you just search up like NBA game bad voice acting.
I gotta hear this.
It's so
I gotta
good.
hear
You're
this.
in for a good time. It's hilarious.
hilarious.
They're just like reading, but like reading really bad. They're not acting at all.
I gotta. Your reaction is making me laugh right now. I gotta watch. I have to watch this.
Worth checking out. That'd be my recommendation.
I'm gonna check it out. What I'm not gonna check out is probably the thing that inspired number 5 on our list.
Nice segue.
So, going for $93.25 complete in box is El Chavo Kart. So this was a 2014 kart racing game created by Colombian developer Efecto Studios and Mexican developer Slang and published by Televisa Home Entertainment for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. This game features all of the characters of El Chavo Animado. What is that? It is an animated cartoon based off the live-action television series El Chavo del Ocho, a Mexican sitcom from the 70s and 80s, I believe, that I was not familiar with at all, but apparently was a big deal because somehow it inspired a 360 kart racer in 2014, which is really weird.
It's a late 360
And also
game.
probably explains why it's rare and more expensive.
Yeah, 2014. Like Jaden just said, that's a late 360 game. Xbox One was already out.
Yeah. Why are they marketing? Who are they marketing this to? Like,
I don't know.
Who asked for this? It's so weird.
I don't know, man.
And
And
I'm
collectors now want it, so
Yeah, I'm half Mexican, and I'm still wondering who's this for.
wasn't for you. So, I mean, from the looks of it, it looks like it's basically a Mario Kart clone or Mario Kart style
Yeah.
racer.
Yep.
Typical kart racer.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
It's this is a Latin America kart racer.
Hola.
El Chavo kart.
Yeah, it looked like I found about 12 copies on eBay.
Really?
So yeah, so definitely not a lot of them. But when I mentioned earlier with NCAA football, there's always 2 games I see people talk about as being like, oh, I can't believe I found this 360 Grail, and this is the other.
This is one.
Yeah, people talk about this game very fondly.
If I saw this, I'd buy it immediately because it's so weird.
But would you buy it at $93.25?
No, probably not. Maybe
You're not a true fan.
I don't know.
You're not a true El
$70.
Chavo fan.
Viva el Chavo.
All right.
Oh boy, that's what a strange game. Okay, we can move on now.
All right, let's move on to number 4. Another sports title. Maybe James knows a little bit more about this than I do, but it was NCAA Basketball 2010. It goes for $98.75 on average. From what I can tell, it's just like NCAA Football 14 and College Hoops 2K8. This was the last game released in this series, which definitely probably has helped spike its price and increased its rarity somewhat.
Yeah,
But there are still over 20 copies on eBay, so it can't be that rare.
yeah.
Do you know much about this series, James?
I mean, so I'm assuming this one's made by EA because the last one was 2K, right? So one was made by Sega or 2K, and this one was made by
EA, probably,
EA.
yeah.
All I can assume, because this was 4 years before the NIL lawsuit that we talked about earlier, is that college basketball just isn't as popular as the NBA. Like, I think general interest in this probably lagged because college basketball is not college football. College football is a monster, right? Only beaten by the NFL in terms of like popularity and interest. And so I think that's probably what it was. They just weren't making as much money on college basketball as they would on an NBA game. You know, the NBA is huge.
Yeah.
So interest is way different in terms of people that would be consumers and buying video games. So I don't know, but I do know that the men's Husky basketball was really, really good this year. So that might be a cool reason to play this game too.
There you go. Just got to drop $100 on it.
Yeah.
I should not sleep on these sports games when I come across them, because normally I'm just like, oh, this is trash. But like if I see a row of these at like Goodwill next time, I'm gonna look at them again, make sure I don't pass up on $100 game.
I know.
It never hurts.
And I'm sure it happens all the time. I bet.
Yeah, because like everyone knows, like no one cares about sports games.
Yeah.
They're like the cheapest, not
Yeah.
shovelware, but you know, like for collectors, like
Yeah.
you skim past those
They're
every time
video
you see
game
them.
fodder.
But now I'm like,
basically.
man, 4 of the top 10
Yeah.
for Xbox 360 are sports games.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. If you know what you're looking for, there's some money or trade bait or whatever to be had here, or a good game maybe if you're into it. Okay, so that was number 4, NCAA Basketball 10 at $98.75.
So now we're at number 3, which is Blitz the League 2. You know about this game?
I mean, I remember NFL Blitz, but
Yeah, so same series. So what happened was, I think the first game did this. I think they lost the license or something. Yeah, they no longer had the NFL license.
Oh, that
and
makes
so
sense.
this series, I guess it's kind of a spinoff. I don't know. Focuses on this fictional league known as the League of 18 teams. So they just kind of lean into just the craziness, maybe the arcadey nature of the Blitz games. This game, oh my goodness, why you gave me this one? I was looking up videos just to see, like, you know, I think I was driving, so I just figured I'd do some research, listening to what this game is about, and you can get like tackled and like hurt really badly, and in like Mortal Kombat style fashion, they zoom in to these players' bodies and you see their bones and everything, tendons just like break and snap and explode. Like it goes into graphic detail. It is terrible. Like, and then like the worst way a guy could get hurt, they show that in like full graphic detail. I got queasy just like, oh my goodness.
so
My goal here was to scar you.
was
for
it
life.
was it more graphic and
Thank
violent than Blitz used to? Because they
Yes.
kind of
the
like
the old Blitz games were like arcadey.
Yeah,
they
like-
were E-rated.
they were
games
rated
where
E. This
you-
was M. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
it was
expect that.
M?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
there's F bombs. There's
Oh my goodness.
There's literal scandals in the game.
What?
Like characters get taken away for like they modeled scandals off of real life scandals. Like what is his name? Michael Vick's the dog.
Oh, the dog
fighting ring.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like it's. I was reading about it. It's nuts. Like,
Yeah.
So they're like, we don't have the NFL anymore. How do we get people interested?
Like, how do we?
Violence.
You can get
absolute
mad at
bonkers.
You can get mad at the other players and like get on top of them and just start like punching them in the face and stuff like that. If you like break, or if you like, you know, really injure yourself, you can I forget what word they call it, but it's basically you take some steroids, but the risk of that is it's like, yes, you'll last longer, but you also risk maybe injuring yourself even more by continuing on. I was like, what is this game? Yeah, not
I
what I
want to get
expected
this game
from.
so bad. I shouldn't, but I want this game.
It looks insane.
This is what happened. This is the kind of desperation that happens when you lose the license to like the biggest thing in sports.
They
you
just
know,
you go all out.
you just
I guess.
Well, if we can't make a real football game, let's F some things up.
I
they
mean,
lose all their scruples. They
did.
just
Yeah,
go crazy.
they did good enough to make a sequel. This is the second game in this series. Yeah.
Whoa, did this on Metacritic, would this also be generally unfavorable or?
Oh, I didn't check that. I just stopped looking once I saw what I saw. I'm like, okay.
Man, that's
Yeah,
There's a couple of games on this list. I'm like, I didn't know I needed you, but now I need you.
So yeah, number 3, Blitz the League 2, $101.
So It's Metacritic. The critic score is 68, so a little above average.
Okay, all right.
Or ish.
So not complete trash.
But the user score is 8.5.
So they were right. The people liked it.
Let's listen. Taidu here says he gave it a 10. Always been a fan of sports movies, and this game is like a sports movie. Man, I want more of these. Like a game with the characters of Blue Mountain State or something. Well, let's see. 128115 said this game will blow you away. It's so fun and so great and so violent. If you don't like it, you're probably ugly as hell. And named Zach Scanlon or something. I don't know who that is, but he apparently doesn't like Zach Scanlon. I'm going to read this one too. Now, there's only 3 written reviews here.
If you don't like this, you're ugly.
And this is your name.
Zach Scanlon. Oh, man. And then DJ Vasquez gave it an 8. Says it's one of the most unique interpretations of football in a video game. This game, even 20 years later, still holds up as a fun and top-tier football game that is refreshing compared to the revisions of other football games year after year. The game mechanics are simple and fun. The play calling is biased towards long passing and big hits, which some fun animation maybe he meant with some fun animations to inflict more injuries to escape or or escapes that allow for huge plays to take place. Okay, now he's just talking about it.
This guy's vibing right now.
This guy actually likes it.
Oh, yeah.
He's a developer of it.
Yeah, at least I mean this game isn't up my alley for what I've seen, but like I can at least appreciate, like, you know, it's a video game. Like
It's a video game.
I don't care for sports games very much, especially like, you know, when they get into, or I guess in general, when video games are just more like realistic or like sims, like driving sims. Like I like when a video game is a video game.
Mm-hmm.
You go all out. You can make it as ridiculous as you want.
Mm-hmm.
So I can appreciate that about it.
Yeah, I just look forward to James's review on Metacritic once he plays it. Probably, I'm just gonna read 128115's review again, just so you guys know. Like, this game is good. It will blow you away. It's so fun, so great, and so violent. If you don't like it, you're probably ugly as hell, and your name is Zach Scanlon. Oh man, I should do the Metacritic score.
Zach
user
Scanlon.
Reviews every time. That was
Oh
fun.
man, this is the Zach Scanlon episode.
Dude, that guy's probably
Oh,
out there like,
Man, the Grand Theft Auto of football video games. Man, that's cool. All right, so number 2, huh?
yeah, on to number 2.
Going for $107.48 complete in box is Marvel Ultimate Alliance Gold Edition. This was an action RPG published by Activision. It was a game that was, I don't remember if I played this game or this version or not, but it's a game that was like, it was really popular, not just because of the license, but because of how many different characters you could play. There was just a ton of playable characters. And so, like, you want whoever you loved in the Marvel universe. You basically,
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He's on the cover.
He's like, yeah, he's like the cover guy. Yeah. However, this gold edition was kind of like I don't know if you call it definitive or a complete edition, but like it had extra playable characters. It had these heroes: Cyclops, Hawkeye, who was originally a PSP exclusive, apparently. Hulk. How could Hulk not be in the first one? Nightcrawler. Villains: Doctor Doom, Magneto, Sabretooth, and Venom. How could...
That's pretty big. Like,
They left some
inclusions.
really big, like, A-listers off the main version of this game. But
Sabretooth?
yeah, Sabretooth. That's why I was laughing a little bit. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly why... Oh, so apparently this was one of, if not the last Marvel superhero game to be released for Xbox where it was like based off a single... Am I getting this right? No, I'm not getting this right. I don't know. It was one of the last Marvel superhero games on the Xbox before there were licensing issues because, you know, like PlayStation kind of got Spider-Man, you know, with
Sony,
Insomniac, and so they kind of made Spider-Man their de facto mascot, basically. And you know, they got exclusivity on a number of levels. But I'm not exactly sure why this is so valuable, honestly, because it was a Marvel video game.
It's because of those extra characters, because they were DLC characters. And the DLC is no longer purchasable. So it's only way you can play those characters is if you get the gold edition. So obviously, collectors specifically. I mean, and it's also this version is only on Xbox. You can't get this version on PlayStation.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
too.
that helps it be like a unique version of the game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you said this, didn't you? I wrote this down. Games were delisted due to licensing issues. So like you can't even.
Yeah, you can't buy the games. You can't buy the DLC.
That's a big reason.
Yeah, and also the Ultimate Alliance games were really fun. They were a spin-off, kind of. They weren't really a spin-off. They were like the next entry in like the X-Men Legends games.
Yeah.
So you could play them 4-player local co-op, and these ones they had online play too. But they were actually good games.
Yeah, people really liked. I can't remember if I played them or not, but I know a lot of people like playing these games. They were a lot of fun. Apparently.
Ultimate Alliance 3 was a Switch exclusive.
Yeah, really strange.
Yeah. So, and there is a Platinum Hits version of this game as well. Of this, it's called the Special Edition. It's the same as the Gold Edition, and it runs about $10 cheaper on average.
So still expensive. Then.
Still expensive, still around $100, but. And on eBay, there was about 15 copies of this, so it's not like crazy uncommon. Yeah. But this is one that I feel like you go to the right store at the right time, you might get lucky and find it because the base version of this game is worth like $10. So it's super cheap and super common. And if somebody's not paying attention and they're just pricing things, they might miss that this is a different version of that game. Mm-hmm. So definitely one to keep your eye out on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so number 1, the most expensive 360 game. This was news to me. I didn't even know this game existed necessarily, let alone that it was rare. And the price jump is astronomical. So just for reference, number 2, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance Gold Edition was $107.48. Number 1 is $274.92.
Yeah,
and that's F1 2013. So just to I've mentioned in eBay how many copies were on eBay for each of these games. How many copies do you think are on eBay of this game?
1.
2.
James was correct. There's 1 copy on eBay. So I did some research because I wanted to know if this was actually rare or if sometimes price charting gets things weird and there's weird numbers on there that don't always add up. And I looked on Video Game Sage and on Reddit and a couple other places. Obviously, only having 1 copy on eBay says it's probably pretty darn uncommon. I looked at a couple different complete collection posts on Reddit of people who had complete 360 collections, and they both mentioned this being the hardest game they had time to track down. And then, Video Game Stage, multiple people mentioned that this was one of the last games they needed for their collection. It's odd. I couldn't figure out a reason why it's so rare because there's also an F1 2014 that is not uncommon and is not very expensive. I don't know. I have no answer here. I don't know. There's not even like reviews for this game. So like maybe it is a game that just didn't release very widely. Like, I don't know. Like,
that's very strange.
I couldn't find a lot on it, but other than the fact that it is definitely uncommon. It was released in Europe and in other countries because those versions were on eBay. But as far as an ESRB copy, there was only 1. I didn't check sold listings, but
I guess it's not super. So like for those that aren't aware, F1 is Formula One. It's like it's the world's NASCAR, but a lot cooler and more interesting. And only recently, and this could be the reason, maybe only recently has F1 become really popular in the U.S. From what I understand, like there was a documentary on Netflix that kind of like repopularized it and got a lot of people eyeballs on Formula One. And so like, and the fact that like now Americans own like some Formula One teams, from what I understand. But like, man, you go to other places and they're obsessed with Formula One. I remember being in the UK in an Uber driver's car and he telling me about how much he loved Formula One. I remember we were at a congregation gathering in Japan last year, and this guy who I could barely talk to doing his best to tell me how much he likes Formula One. Like, people elsewhere love Formula One. U.S. historically loves NASCAR, right? That's amazing how much sports there are in this episode.
A lot of sports talk. Xbox brings a lot of sports and a lot of shooters.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
So that's the top 10 most expensive and honestly pretty rare games for the 360. I was surprised how many of these didn't have many copies on eBay, with the exception of the NCAA and both the NCAA games. Both had quite a few on eBay. But so a recap of the list: number 10 was 50 Cent Blood on the Sand at $86.53. Number 9 was Operation Darkness at $86.73. NCAA Football 14 is number 8 at $87. Armored Core Verdict Day is number 7 at $90. College Hoops 2K8 is number 6 at $91. El Chavo Kart is number 5 at $93. NCAA Basketball 2010 is number 4 at $98. Blitz the League 2 is number 3 at $102. Marvel Ultimate Alliance Gold Edition is number 2 at $107. And lastly, F1 2013 is number 1 at $275. So definitely not the most expensive console we've talked about.
No.
And when you get outside of these, 10 or 20 base games that are in, $70, $80, $90 price range, they all get pretty cheap. A lot of the games are well under $40. But it is a big library. Mm-hmm. So, all right.
Thanks for filtering that list too, by the way. Yeah. There's so many special editions and bundles and stuff. It was confusing.
Yeah, if you wanted to collect for the 360, you could go nuts. This was like the core period of time I worked at GameStop, and every game got a collector's edition. Yeah. Every game. Like, if it was even remotely popular, it got a collector's edition, special edition, limited edition, all 3 editions. Like, Call of Duties back then got 3, each one got 3 editions.
I didn't realize how many editions there were of Rockman until I went through that list. I was like, what is going on here?
And
makes sense.
They had all those editions, plus the 360 also had a lot of special edition consoles and controllers. Honestly, other than maybe handhelds, the 360 probably has the coolest line of special edition consoles.
Oh, yeah. There are some really cool ones.
Yeah. Microsoft really went all out. On their special edition consoles. I love the R2-D2 one. It's the one I have. But the Halo 4 one is super cool. Yeah. The Gears of War one is super cool. Those are just a couple of the ones that come right to mind. There was the Halo Reach one. There were so many special edition consoles. And on the old model 360, they had the faceplates that you could get. And those were cool too. That's a whole nother beast.
Man.
So, before we go over our list of games to keep a lookout for, I wanted to do a top 10 list because we've been doing cliffhangers, but we didn't have a lot of time to put that together. So I was like, let's do a top 10. I used to do top 10s on earlier episodes. Okay. And I haven't done one in a while.
All right.
So I thought, let's do the top 10 best-selling games on the 360. And then I looked at that list and was like, this is extremely boring.
Call of Duty, Just Dance.
It was basically all Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, and Connect Sports. Or Connect Adventures, the one that came with the game.
That other one.
So I decided instead of doing best-selling, let's do the best reviewed games on the 360. Because that mixed it up a little bit, for sure.
Yeah.
So this is the list. This is the top 10 best reviewed games according to Metacritic. So you guys go ahead. We'll do 5 strikes total between the two of you guys. So you share strikes.
Oh, I think I got an easy one.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you agree on saying Grand Theft Auto 5?
Yes.
Okay, Grand Theft Auto 5 is number 2.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So. Glad I agree with you. I wouldn't have thought of it.
All right, what else?
Man, top 10. That's
I'm gonna say. Is this even on this system? Mass Effect 2.
Good job. Mass Effect 2 is number 5.
Let's go.
So yeah, best. I didn't write down what their scores were, but I think Grand Theft Auto 5 was 96 on Metacritic, and Mass Effect 2 was, I want to say, like 92.
Yeah.
So okay, so you got 2 now. Number 2.
We don't have to
5.
take turns if you could think of one before me.
I'm gonna say Gears of War 2.
Gears of War 2 is not on the list.
Crap. Strike 1.
Okay, my turn. GTA 4.
Good one. Number 1.
Wow.
That's better than the 5th one?
I believe it was 98 on Metacritic.
Dang.
Wow.
So, yeah, apparently very highly revered.
No wonder there's so much hype for the next one.
Yep.
Ooh, I got another one.
Yes.
Portal 2.
Portal 2. Good job.
Ooh,
yeah.
well
8.
done.
So you now have 1, 2, 5, and 8.
Okay, I'm going to go Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead is number 7.
Let's go. We're doing so good right now.
one strike, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. You're doing good.
This is pretty good, man.
You need 3,
I'm
4,
pretty good.
6,
Okay.
9, and 10.
3, 4, 6, 9.
How-
Do
how-
you
oh.
think there's a Halo title?
I was about to say Halo 3, maybe.
But Halo 3 wasn't like Halo 2 was absolute. But
That was Xbox.
Yeah,
Original
I
Xbox.
figured that was original.
Oh, yeah.
You
But-
think Halo?
Halo 3.
It wasn't received
I
well.
don't
the way
know.
that
I don't
Halo
know the
2 was.
games. Yeah,
It could be though. Like I don't have a lot of ideas right
I
now.
don't know if they're like 90s or 80s territory.
Yeah.
I think they're up there.
Let's
Maybe
try.
let's think of
Let's try.
another. Skyrim. Is that an easy?
Yes.
Let's go Skyrim.
Skyrim is on there. Yeah! Number 6.
Sweet.
So now you just have 3,
Are there-
4, 9, and 10.
Are there any other open world games that's on every?
How did Oblivion go at the time? Elder Scrolls.
don't know.
Is that the fourth one?
Maybe more at Strike 4, and I can't think of anything else. Halo 3.
Halo 3 is not on the list.
You idiot! I'm just kidding.
And I'm going to do
it's
you
fine.
guys a solid and say no Halo is on the top 10.
I'm not
I
surprised
think
though.
so.
I
I'm not
believe Halo
surprised.
3 was the highest, and I want to say it was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I know Halo 2 probably would have cracked this list if it was
I'm sure it
on
would
this
have.
console. He said
Man.
maybe Gears of War 2.
This is really not my my realm.
You still need 3,
I'm a poser.
4, 9, and 10.
Orange Box doesn't count because that's. Can I say Orange Box?
You can say Orange Box.
Should I say Orange Box? I'll say Orange Box.
Orange Box is number 4.
All right.
Oh yeah. I was thinking Portal 2, but Portal
Nice
1 is on
job.
Orange Box.
Yep, good one. That was the one I didn't think you guys would get. So
Okay, so what's left? What's
good
left?
job. Just number 3, 9, and 10.
I'm gonna say Mass Effect 1.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 is not on the list.
Okay, so 3 definitely isn't on there. Okay, see, I've already given up 3 strikes, so just I'm gonna step aside for a while until you get a strike.
Wait, how many strikes did you get? 5?
You get 5 strikes, and you have 3.
You're gonna let me lose the whole game. Step aside. Go on, Jaden.
How does this pressure feel?
Oh.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, man. I'd be surprised if a Gears game wasn't on here. Gears of War 3 maybe, but I don't know.
Trying to think of all the games.
Was there any like really good COD games that were like? I'm sure there was. There was probably
Like,
1 or 2 that were really highly rated back then.
I forget if it was Black Ops or World
Yeah,
at
Black
War
Ops 2
2,
wouldn't
3, or
Black
one
Ops
of
2
those.
wouldn't surprise me, honestly. But I don't know if it would be.
I don't know.
Would it crack a list
I don't think
like
that
this?
was like 90 error.
I know. I feel like that's like the
everyone
fan,
played it.
Yeah, that was like the
but
fan favorite one. Called Black Ops 2. Even I played some of that. I don't know. So okay, nominees: Gears of War 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. What other thoughts do we have? Games that are like that were a big deal of that era.
Banjo Kazooie Nuts and Bolts.
Is that your final answer?
No. I like that game though.
Sheesh. I feel like there's some RPG we're missing or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can we get a hint? Is it a Call of Duty in there?
I'll just tell you guys there's no Call of Duty in the top 10.
Okay.
Okay.
But no Strike 4.
Any other rock stars that we're forgetting?
Yeah,
Because Rockstar is just those guys are on fire. Bully.
I feel like I'm going to hear one of these and I'm
Probably
going to
not.
be like, you're so stupid.
I'm going to give you one
How is-
more hint.
Okay.
And then everything else is up to you.
Okay.
You mentioned a series already.
Uh-huh.
You guessed one in it, and one of the games is on the list.
So not God of War. Gears of War 3?
I don't think it was that one though.
Gears of War 1?
Based on his hint,
There's 3. Was Gears
was
of War
2 better?
Was Gears of War on 360? The first
he
one?
guessed 2.
Oh, he did.
I guess 2.
Gears of
Okay,
War
it's
was a
probably
360 franchise. It started on 360.
Gears of War 1 then.
What's your final
You think?
answer?
Yeah.
I think he wants us to say 3.
I'm not even sure there is a Gears of War 3, honestly.
Is there not? Is that the new one?
Because people have been waiting for a new Gears of War. I'm going to say Gears of War 1.
Good job. Because
Oh,
Gears of War 1 is
nice.
number 10.
Yeah.
And there was a Gears of War 3.
There was? Okay.
Yeah.
I know that people are kind of like feeling like it's overdue for another entry.
Is there?
So you have 2 left. Number 3 and number 9.
Oh, no.
2 strikes.
And we have no ideas now. We're fresh out.
I will say this.
Rare replay.
Both of these make sense. That was an Xbox One game.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say.
Both of these make sense to be on the list, and I know you guys know both of these games. Like they won't surprise you.
Yeah.
One, I don't think either of you have played. One, I know you've played, but maybe not on 360.
Well, was either of the Knights or the Old Republics on 360?
No, that was
Dang
OG
it.
Xbox.
Gosh, dang it. Bioshock?
Oh,
You think?
Infinite? Was that the really, really good one?
What is another? What
There's
games
Alan
are kind of
Wake.
like Alan Wake?
There's
Is there any Resident Evil games that were like really?
I don't know. That was 5 and 6 at that time.
Yeah, not yeah. So Bioshock.
I remember it being a big deal at the time, so I'll just throw out BioShock Infinite.
It's incorrect.
What was that one
Strike
series that got remastered right before Metroid Prime remastered last year?
Oh, Dead Space.
Dead Space?
Yeah.
Do you think Dead Space?
Oh, I
think Dead Space?
I forget if do horror games rate that high?
I don't. Maybe.
Either. Well, I guess it's number 9. It could be.
He said one of them I played, though. I've never played Dead Space.
List off all the games you played on 360.
Oh! Forza! How have we not said a Forza game yet?
I don't know.
One of these is going to be a Forza game. But which one? There's a lot. One of these, because Forza games are always extremely highly rated.
Very
almost
true,
every time.
very true.
Forza Motorsport.
I don't know when it
When did it start?
started on OG Xbox. I
Didn't
thought.
it? I thought so
Right?
too.
Because I was like not Grand Theft Auto. Gran Turismo's competitor.
Forza Motorsport 2 or 3. What's the one that just came out on Series X?
Is that 5? No, that's Horizon 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. What,
Is it in
what-
the Forza? Yeah, you already said you gave our last hint.
I've played some Forza games though, so maybe that's what he's talking about.
Well, which ones?
I didn't know you played Forza games.
Oh crap! So
okay,
it's not.
maybe it's not that one.
I helped you. even though
White flag.
You're gonna make me lose this game.
Yeah. I already. I'm accountable for 3 of these strikes.
Jaden, you were on the right series.
I am
earlier.
out.
I was earlier.
Just a little bit ago.
Is it a different Bioshock? I don't know the Bioshocks that came out on the Bioshock 2. Is that a game?
Bioshock 2 is a game. Is that your final answer?
I'll go for it.
No, you're incorrect. It was Bioshock 1.
Oh man! Oh,
Dang.
Bioshock was number 3.
Was that
I
our, was
brought
that our
that
last?
Up. I brought up Bioshock.
that was your last one. So
You're the idiot that said Infinite.
and,
I just remember that game being so popular at the time.
no,
one
Infinite was
sorry.
really big, but,
Yeah,
but
Infinite
apparently
was big.
Bioshock 1 is more widely or was better reviewed. The last one, James, like I said, I know it's a game you've played, but not on the 360. Batman Arkham City.
Oh, of course. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
I wouldn't have known which Batman though. There's like
Arkham City was like
Yeah.
3.
really high up there.
really
There was
good.
3 on the 360.
It was so
though.
good.
Yep. So Gears of War was number 10. Arkham City was 9. Portal 2 was 8. Red Dead Redemption was 7. Skyrim was 6. Mass Effect 2 was 5. Orange Box was number 4. Bioshock was number 3. And then GTA 5 and GTA 4 rounded out the list of the 10 highest reviewed games on the 360.
It's a good list.
It's a pretty solid list for sure. Okay, so let's close up the episode with a couple of suggestions for games that we feel like people should look out for if they're interested in them on the 360. I'll just start off. So for me, I feel like these are obvious answers. These are answers that I'm sure a lot of people are already looking for. To me, I'm shocked that neither of these games are more expensive than they are. The first one is Blue Dragon. It has all of the signs to be an expensive game. It's an RPG. It's made by Hironobu Sakaguchi of Final Fantasy fame. Soundtrack is done by Nobuyo Uematsu of Final Fantasy fame. The art is done by Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball fame. And he just recently passed away too, which always has an effect on the price of games.
Yep.
I picked this game up at Portland Retro Gaming Expo in October because I'd been wanting it for a long time, and that was one of my must-gets while I was there. I got it for $20.
Oh, nice.
And that's what it was going for on average then. It's up to about 40 already.
Oh, wow.
And that spike has happened just since January. So with the eShop closing and everything, I don't doubt that this game will get not the eShop, the Microsoft Store.
I wasn't gonna correct it.
Yeah.
And with your Akira Toriyama's passing, and with things too, like Nobuyo Uematsu has announced that he's not going to make any more full soundtracks for games. Like
Yeah.
all these things are going to spike the nostalgia. I
sure.
also don't foresee this game getting any kind of reprint or remake. It didn't do incredibly well in America.
Yeah.
They tried really hard to make it a thing. It got an anime. It got 2 DS spin-offs.
Whoa.
Like
Yeah.
they tried to make it, but it didn't become a big thing. It's unlikely, especially with Akira Toriyama passing, that it'll get remade anytime soon, at least.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this game isn't going to continue to go up and possibly be one of the games that skyrockets at some point. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And then the other game that I have as a game that I feel like I'm surprised it's not more expensive, but has also gone up a lot in the last year, is Lost Odyssey. Another 360 exclusive RPG, also made by Hironobu Sakaguchi with music done by Nobuyo Uematsu. This was part of the Mistwalker that they had made. Hironobu Sakaguchi had made the Mistwalker studio after he'd left Square Enix, and these were the 2 games he did first. Lost Odyssey is very much so in the vein of classic Final Fantasy as far as the story and gameplay and everything. I have not played it. I've heard it's fantastic. It looks great. It's a 4-disc game. I see no reason why it would continue to stay cheap. I will say this is another one. I bought this for $15 at a game store last year, and it's already up to double that, which I know $30 isn't like crazy, but in a year to double anything to double in value always is a signifying factor that it's probably going to continue to go up.
Yeah.
So yeah. And on this note too, I hope this doesn't steal either of your guys' thunder. The 360 is a powerhouse for RPGs. Like obviously Western RPGs were big on it. But there are a lot of decent JRPGs on this console.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned Operation Darkness earlier, maybe isn't the best reviewed, but it's still exclusive. There's also like Cold Step Saga, which is also going up in price. And those Infinite and Discovery, which has gotten ports, but it's still a good version of it. There's plenty of games on this console that were great JRPGs
Yeah.
that are somewhat exclusive to the console. So things to keep an eye out for.
Good answers.
All right, let's go to Jaden.
Sure. I got 2 collections. One is the Konami Classics Collection. You guys know this is $40, going for about that much. This has 3 games on it. It has Frogger, Super... I think it's Super Contra or Super C, one of those. I forget
Nice.
which of the... I'm not a Contra guy, so I don't know the differences. And then the third game on disc, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Really?
This is the
I forgot
cheapest...
That's insane.
Yeah, this is the cheapest physical you can get of the Symphony of the Night, because the PlayStation 1 game's like what, 100 something?
Yeah,
that's up there.
How much is the PSP one?
Ooh, I don't know. I think that's also down like surprisingly low, like 40, I think, like around the same price. And that one also has some sort of extra mode. So I think like definitive version, that might actually be the definitive version. But if we're talking consoles, this is by far the cheapest way you can own Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, and I feel like no one really knows about that.
I forgot that. I knew there was a Konami collection, but I don't know that I even knew that was on there. That really is a big deal for that
That's a
collection.
good point.
Yeah, so that caught my eye. I'm like, I wonder. And then my other one is the Dreamcast collection for roughly $35. I went to Collector's Haven today because I remember seeing it there, but I didn't grab it. I was like, I don't know, I don't need those. I just recently found this out though, because it has like this collection has 5 games. It has Sega Bass Fishing, the music one, what was that?
Space Channel 5.
That one, and Sonic Adventure, Crazy Taxi, and
Wow.
what's that? Choo Choo Rocket, maybe I want to say.
Yeah, I didn't know there was. I only ones I knew for sure were Crazy
should've.
Taxi and Space Channel 5.
Man, I should have looked at. Maybe there's only 4 games on there. I could be wrong about that last one, but so I went back to go grab it once I found out that these work on Series X. Like you
awesome.
can put the disc in, and what it will do is from the Microsoft Store, it'll just like put all those games like in your library if you have this disc. So I thought that was pretty cool. And This is like the only way to physically quote unquote physically, because like I said, it's kind of a download thing, but like to own the HD versions of these games, this is the only way.
Oh wow,
So I thought that was kind of notable.
that's cool.
Let's see if I have anything else cool. I brought some games. Nope. Well, that one's pretty cool too. Burnout Revenge, Series X enhanced, really
Nice.
cool. But Need for Speed Most Wanted,
Yeah.
super good. The 360 version, because this was 2005, so it would have lined up right for, because this came out PS2, Xbox, GameCube, all those things. But this is the only like true HD version. That's also
Nice.
widescreen, and it runs the best. I wouldn't say it's a solid 60, but because it chugs quite a bit. But the other game definitely doesn't run at 60. I think it's like 30 at best, but even then it's like lower than that. There's a lot of stuff that getting chased by the cops when there's a ton of cops chasing you, especially on the PS2 version. It's pretty rough. But this currently is, well, I mean, I wouldn't say even arguably, it is the best version of this game. And I would say it's the best Need for Speed game. I had so much fun with this. I
Nice.
love this game. I found this at a GameStop for, I think $30, which was actually a steal because this is going like $66 right now.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I think
Dang.
people are realizing that this is the best version of the best Need for Speed game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, find this for if you see it for cheaper than that. I highly recommend it. I love this game.
Awesome.
That's pretty awesome. I know King Kong was another one like that
Oh,
released
yeah.
right at the 360's launch. So it got that, and it's considered the best version, and because of that, it's way more expensive than any other version of the game.
Nice. That's pretty cool. The ones I got, unsurprising, they're all Spider-Man related. There was a lot of Spider-Man titles on Xbox 360 and by extension PS3 as well before, Spider-Man became kind of like the face of Sony, so to speak. There's one called Spider-Man Web of Shadows that had two versions. And one of these versions of Web of Shadows had...
We're doing finger guns over here.
There was a comic that came with this. That's I think just part of the. If you get it complete in box, it's like a art book / comic featuring the characters that's in the game, and it's. I know it's more valuable. I don't know exactly what it goes for. Generally speaking, Web of Shadows goes for, it looks like, from what I saw on eBay, like $60-ish, give or take. So it's already kind of an expensive. And honestly, all of these Spider-Man games were kind of expensive for 360 titles, but it's because you can't play them anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, like nowadays, if you want to play a Spider-Man game, it's on PlayStation or it's nowhere else, and that's fine because the games are really good. But also, there's another one called Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, which is the highest critically rated of the Spider-Man titles. It was the first time that a Spider-Man video game introduced the concept of different Spider-men in different universes. So first time
It's reviewed better than the
I'm
Insomniac
pretty
games?
sure. No. Of the 360
Oh, gotcha.
era, that generation of Spider-Man video games, it's the one that rated the best, from what I can tell. Even like really good. They said Shattered Dimensions was, and I'm
better than 3.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, there are some cool Spidey games on Xbox 360 that I've got my eye on if I see them.
Yeah, those are ones that I would definitely check GameStops for too, or any
Yeah,
like other,
I was
because
gonna say.
I think you have a decent chance of finding it at a place like that, just because they probably. I put that in a category of, even if they didn't sell a lot, it still is something that's probably sold to casual gamers. And casual gamers trade into GameStop,
Yeah,
so it raises your odds with something
Yeah.
like that.
And it's only like $30-$40, I want to say, when you find them at GameStop.
yeah.
So quite a bit cheaper.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. So all good games to keep an eye out. Thanks for preparing for that, guys.
Sure.
Overall, like I think the 360, both the original Xbox and the 360, and even to some extent Xbox One, I don't know about the Series X, but I think they actually have quite a few hidden gems on them, or games that just aren't as well. I don't want to say well received, but aren't as like remembered or talked about as much as games that came out on the Wii or the PlayStation 3. The dog and cat are playing. I was like, I do not know what's going on. But yeah, no, there's a lot of good games, and it's definitely the time, if you have any desire to collect for the console, it is the time to collect for it, because things still aren't crazy expensive. And I don't know, it just feels like, you kind of hinted at it earlier, but there's an inevitable death of physical media, And I mean, Microsoft is definitely moving that direction. And with that might come a nostalgia kick for people wanting to continue to pick up games for their favorite consoles. And also, too, there was that huge rumor that Microsoft was going to leave the console race altogether. That obviously didn't happen, and that may never happen. But in the chance that they ever do, there's no way that that doesn't affect the games on their old consoles dramatically. Because, once again, nostalgia will spike.
Yeah.
And obviously, scalpers and people will go crazy on it, too. But
In an age where, like, these consoles are already kind of retro, like, how much more retro do they become or feel to people when we literally can't buy physical video games anymore? I do truly wonder what that's going to be like, or if it's going to change the landscape at all.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, also, too, this is the last generation where, for the most part, almost all games still were complete on disc. They did still have, like, later in the console's life, there were more updates and stuff.
That's a good point.
But, like, once we got to PS4 and Xbox One, and obviously even the Wii U and now Switch, all these consoles, every game, that's not true, but most games have updates.
Yeah.
And they aren't completely complete. You know, you might be able to play it, but they fix things, they add things, whatever. 360 and PS3 and Wii, I mean, especially Wii, almost had I don't think it had any updates, but PS3 and 360 didn't have nearly as many, and it became much more prevalent later in the console's life cycle than it was earlier on. So because of that, like, it's kind of like the last console you can collect for and really get a complete game, and not have to worry about all that garbage when, you know, they eventually shut down their online shop or whatever else. So
Yeah, this is fun. I slept on the 360 library this whole time because I never thought, but now I feel like I'm not going to sleep on it. There's a lot
Yeah.
of good stuff on
A lot of
there
good
that's
stuff.
worth keeping your eye out
Just
for.
remember, for a brief moment in time, Xbox was king.
You know why they sold so many consoles? It's because they all got red ringed.
that also.
it's unfortunately that did play a big part, but it was funny. I watched Scott the Woz video just a couple days ago, and he was talking about PS3 versus 360 in that whole time period. And it's crazy. 360 literally came out so strong, and they were on top of the world. PlayStation did everything wrong, and they were not on top of the world. After the PS2, they came in too cocky, and the PS3 was bombing. But by the end of the console's life cycle, they flipped it completely. The PS3 sold more consoles overall than the 360, and that, with the way things went, that never should have happened. But when you look at the libraries, the 360 was front loaded, the PS3 was back ended.
That makes sense.
Like, not that was necessarily correct, but because of that, the 360 sales slowed down after that first 3 or 4 years when all of their big support titles stopped coming out.
So by the time PS4 launched, they already had so much momentum going in, and PS4 was truly, they really got a stranglehold on everything with PS4. So it kind of makes sense how that all went out.
So
Pretty crazy.
360 is a great system. It still has a lot of reasons to play it. It's the
yeah.
system that introduced achievements, which everybody knows about my achievements.
The first generation of truly incredible Xbox controllers. The 360 controller was great. I think the ones now are even better. Some people disagree with me, though. Some people think the 360 controller was peak Xbox controller. But
I don't know if I have a preference between the two, but I do think the 360 was pretty great.
it was
I
pretty
think they
good.
get more refined as they go.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all good.
Yeah.
So definitely keep an eye out for games. And the nice thing is right now, GameStops have 360 games for whatever reason. They might not have a lot, but the only reason I say it, nobody loves GameStop, but GameStop is accessible as far as game stores go.
Even in Longview, Washington.
Even in the armpit of Washington. No, I don't know. If anybody's from Longview, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I don't know
guess.
anything about Longview, really. I've been there, but barely. But, all right. Well, we'll go ahead and conclude there. Thanks for joining me, guys. It was fun. We'll probably do some more of these this year than we have the last couple of years, just because I don't have as much on the schedule this year.
If you didn't like this episode, you're probably ugly, and your name is Zach Scanlon.
I'm glad you remembered that name. I already forgot.
I was impressed. It's like, is he going to do it? Stick the landing.
It's not just ugly; it's ugly as hell.
you ugly as hell.
Yeah, on a side note too, if you have any desire to be on the podcast, whether you live locally or further away, let me know. We can do video or we can do local. Yeah, I have to fill out my schedule for the rest of the year coming up soon. So, yeah, just hit me up. But on that note, remember that you can always follow me on Instagram, Twitter, wherever else at X Button Gaming. Remember to like and follow the podcast wherever you listen to it. And remember to always press X to continue.